Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close, I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I
it.
don't think I've ever said this before.
So apparently the Teacher of the Year award in the state of California goes to Katie Porter for giving Gavin Newsom a B on homelessness because the way she handled it. And Steve Hilton, who is the opponent running as a Republican, came up and said, I wish I had you as a teacher because I give Gavin Newsom an F. You have to see this clip in the debate. There's a bunch of other stuff that's going on. Apparently Trump said, I didn't know Israel and Lebanon like each other. Apparently they like each other. They keep saying good things that they're best friends. That I think they like each other. So there's a ceasefire there apparently for 3 weeks, which we'll talk about. Mike Vrabel, I don't know what's going on there with Mike Vrabel. Like, we almost didn't want to touch this story, but it's everywhere. And I mean the story, not touching touching the story. Because there's definitely a lot of, that's right. There's a lot of touching going on there. Apparently a lot of weird pictures. And apparently even the kid was named Michael. I don't know if it's named after Vrabel or not. A lot of weird stuff over there. It's tough when it's a coach. It's a player, it's one thing. When it's a coach, it's confusing. Remember when Derek Fisher had the scandal as a coach, and you're like, dude, you're the freaking coach, right? Like, you're not the player, but the coach. You're supposed to coach the player. So
not a game.
I don't know.
Not a game.
Yeah.
And flipped his car on the Ventura Freeway in the process.
Yes.
In the middle of that.
That's a whole different story.
It was the middle of the scandal.
And by the way, the story with Kobe. They would say Kobe would keep his wife away from Derek Fisher because he knew how Derek was with Matt Barnes' wife.
Wow.
Kobe specifically kept his wife away from Derek Fisher because of how Derek Fisher was and the reputation he had. He would always find ways to get around, Matt Barnes' wife. And look at them now. Yeah, very.
Speaking of the
I
Patriots,
remember Matt Barnes
your,
drove 100 miles an hour on the LA freeways for 90 minutes to get to Derek Fisher and to pound him into the ground. Remember this?
Yes, I do.
I was going to say, keep your kids or your grandkids away from the former coach of the New England Patriots because he likes him young.
He likes him young. Yeah. That was
Shout out
supposed
to
to be
Bill.
funny. That was supposed to be funny, but like Tom's joke didn't land. So Tom, you can take shots at Adam today.
When my jokes don't land, I just look to the right now.
So
I'll give myself
Historical facts here.
DeSantis,
From the California
DeSantis invited Hakeem Jeffries to Florida, and you have to find out why, because they're talking crap back to each other, back and forth. Trump said to shoot down any of these guys that are landing mines putting mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah. We'll talk about that. Starbucks is moving headquarters to Tennessee, and Tom is furious. He's not happy about it. Tom walked in today, I think, with a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of an edge, and I'm like, Tom, keep your frustration outside of this property, and we may have to send him home today. Spain, incredible thing going on in Spain. 500,000 new customers came in. Some call it migrants, but 500,000 new customers showed up. And you should see the video. You should see the video, what it looks like. And then the folks in Madrid, the state, part of Spain, Madrid, they're like, look, we're not with this. What are you doing? They're trying to fight it. But the Spaniard leader, who's a socialist, progressive, says, no, these people deserve a chance. Let them come to our society. They're more important than you are. We should do that. And then there's this video that went viral all over X the last couple of days of immigration, what's going on with Europe.
Insane.
Vinny has that, and we'll definitely show that. And then what else do we have here? Kalshi, congressional candidates. There's a clip of the president being asked, so what do you think about this special forces guy that bet on poly markets, knowing before you guys were going to get Maduro? He says, well, what side was he betting on? He said, was he betting that we were going to get him, or was he betting that we weren't going to get him? He says, no, he was betting. So kind of like Pete Rose, he was betting for himself. It's a problem if you're not betting
Against yourself.
Bet on yourself.
Can you imagine? It's like, we're going to get this guy over my dead body. Molly Market, I'm proud of this guy, but
of course.
We'll play that clip. We'll play that clip. And then the scientist, terrible, tragic story, Amy Eskridge. Ilan's got some stuff to scientists to show. Very interesting. And then Ilhan Omar, just a rough week, man. People been going to her, asking her questions, and you can see her temper. I don't have to do shit is what I don't have to do.
She cursed?
Oh, yeah.
And
well, she curses for a
That's
living.
haram, guys.
Yeah.
That's haram. I'm going to call her out on that.
And Ilhan Omar, They made a minor, people make minor mistakes. It's not a big deal. They made a $30 million minor accounting mistake. And people do that every day,
Happens
which
all
your
the
net worth
time,
is.
Pat. Like, what do you?
So
I stole it fair and square.
yeah, we'll see. Tom, that's flirting with pump the brakes. Marco Rubio said Iran's soccer players can come in the World Cup and play, but the government IRGC is not invited. By the way, it's going to be interesting what happens there. Can you imagine IRGC is going to say we can't come? They're not coming. I don't know how that's going to play out. But the world is watching. And for some of you guys that want to get World Cup tickets, you can find tickets on 10 Pro, very reasonable price, $2.3 million. And we'll give you the link if you guys want to buy 10, 20 tickets. It's just $2.3 million right now.
Wow.
150 million ain't what it used to be.
It's not, buddy.
It isn't.
So if you're
No
working
problem if you own a hospice in LA.
Yeah. If you work at Meta or Microsoft, Meta is apparently letting go of 10% of their employees, and I think Microsoft is letting go of 7% of their employees. And if you're part of Meta 8% or Microsoft 7% and you're a great engineer, reach out to us because we need engineers desperately. Go to VT.com/careers. Go to VT.com/careers. Come to Florida. You'll fall in love with this place. If you're an engineer there, we are hiring aggressively. And then we got a couple other stories to get into, which we will, because it all depends on time. Today's Friday, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun together as well. I got a clip to show you about borders that is so funny. This girl does a phenomenal job. It was so funny that the guy had nothing to say. He had to pause for 45 seconds. She kept asking him, "You're gonna love the video." Having said that, we got some news here today. Last time we did this, it moved very, very fast. We have 200 signed hats from the PBD podcast. And here's what we're doing. Those of you that buy the hats, you know about it. Those of you that don't buy the hats, you don't know. But we probably have a good 80 different selections of hats from Valuetainment, Future Looks Bright, Faith Over Fear, PBD podcast. So here's what we're doing today. Rob, if you want to play this clip, actually before playing the clip, you order 4 hats, okay? Any of the 4 hats that we have on our selection on VTmerch.com. And you have to make sure you add the 4 hats as well as the signed hat. That's the way you get the signed hat. If you buy all the 4 hats together, Rob, the bundle is $200 for a total 5 hats with one of them being signed. So with that being said, Rob, go ahead and play this clip with all the videos that we have with the incredible actor that's in the video. Go ahead. Good looking guys.
Look at that stud.
Look at that, VT.
That's
they did
sick.
good right there. That was good.
Yeah. That's sunny.
Vinny's up dancing right now.
I start twerking out here. Watch it.
Vinny, wow.
That's Tom.
I'm
So, there you go. You can
That
pause
singer
it
right
there.
Tom just tweaked the voice. And
I don't know who it is.
Career
Honestly,
pathway.
I just know we have the
Sounds like
license for the song
BizDoc
'cause that's
Kendrick
all I care
Lamar
about.
mix.
So guys, if you're one that loves the brand, loves what we do, and you support it, we appreciate that. It means a lot to us. We want to see millions of people wearing a Future Looks Bright gear at a time where it's a lot of people are selling bitterness, entitlement, negativity, divisiveness. We want to find a way to bring people together and just bring the truth to you to the best of our abilities. And if you're someone that wants to see the brand grow more and you're proud to wear the brand, you're going out there in the mall, you go and shop, you go to work, you're wearing Future Looks Bright gear, you'd be amazed how many conversations are being started because of it. So go to VTmerch.com, go to the hat section, Rob, if you can show it. When you go to VTmerch.com, go to the hat section, and whatever hats you pick, you have to pick the 5th one as a signed one, and then that'll be included in the bundle. Go to VTmerch.com, place the order for yourself, your wife, your kids, your son, your husband. Give it to them as gifts or have different ways to wear hats. You got many different selections. With that being said, let's get right into it. First story, which one do we want to go with? Do we want to start off? Let's just start off with California, Rob. Go to Katie Porter. This debate's taking place. It's very important because they don't even know who's going to be the governor. And the most difficult thing to be in this situation is the following thing. Is when they're asking you, Rob, is this the Katie Porter clip?
Yes.
Okay, so when they're asking you, hey, you're a liberal, you're a Democrat, you're running for governor, and they're asking you to defend Newsom's record. How do you do it? That maneuvering is super difficult. Here's Katie Porter, someone I think is made for TV. She's fantastic. She's asked about Newsom's record on homelessness. Listen to the answer, but more importantly, listen to the rebuttal from Steve Hilton. Go ahead.
You have 15 seconds. If you were in my class, Mr. Hilton, you would learn in my bankruptcy and consumer protection class that the majority of homeless people in California are actually working. They're not just people on the streets. It's not just people with mental illness or people with drug or substance use problems.
36 seconds.
Families who are fleeing
Is she going to give the grade?
Domestic violence. It's people who are double and tripled up. It's people who are living in their cars on our college campuses.
Rob, I'm not interested in this shtick. I want to know when she gives a grade. There's a clip of her saying the grade. That's why I want to get it. Go for it.
Give him on homelessness, and what, if anything, would you do differently? You have 60 seconds.
I'm a notoriously tough grader, but I would probably give him a B on homelessness. I don't think this has been an easy problem to solve, but I do give him a lot of credit for calling attention to the problem. When he campaigned 8 years ago, he was talking about housing when nobody else was.
Wow, by the way, I'd love to be in your class, Katie, if you get a B for what Gavin Newsom's done on homelessness. My goodness.
What grade?
What do you think about that? How do you handle that situation? When you got somebody, you have to defend his position or not defend the position. What's the right answer if you're Katie Porter? Ilan.
I think Democrats, Katie Porter is a perfect example of just dive into the insanity. There's no accountability anyway. It doesn't matter. I ran away from California because of this was part of the reason. There were people going to the bathroom on the streets near my house and shooting up. It's just decayed so far. So you don't have an option. You either dive into the insanity, the delusion, and just hope that people follow along, or because that's just an incredible.
What choice? Do you answer and say, honestly, I wish he would have done more? There's a lot of things he did right in the state of California, and there's some things that he didn't do right. He did not do the homelessness right. I'd probably give him a D+. I think I would expect an answer like that.
I like that
from her.
I like that because it's like
better
you gotta
answer
jump
than
ship
a B.
because it the proof isn't the words talk, numbers scream. They're screaming 26. How much money did they spend? $26 billion, and more homeless happened. I don't understand her defending this position.
How important do you think this one issue is? Remember, 2 Democrats, not Republicans, because we know where the Republicans are going to be at and the independents. How important do you think to the Democrats that they will never publicly say they vote Republican? What do you think homelessness is on the list of Democrats who are reasonable Democrats in the state of California, Tom?
There are 4 Californias. The first is the Bay Area. The second is Los Angeles and Orange County, which is 2 sides of the same metropolis, but Orange County, very different. And then San Diego and then the inland state. In LA, everybody on both sides of the aisle are deeply concerned about homelessness. You want to know why? Because it's out in front of everybody's front yard. You're Democrat, Republican, but Dems tend to not push back on that when they're in the voting booth. They're very reluctant to pull back. It's why you have another Democrat socialist leading the polling for mayor of Los Angeles. And let me step back real quick, Pat. Since Swalwell came out, and we had this debate last night, Hilton is at 20%. That's a Republican. Becerra is at 15%, and Steyer is at 15%. So those are the 2 Democrats. So it looks like Becerra has picked up all of the 70% of the Swalwell support. Makes sense, Pat? So now you have Steyer and Becerra, and it appears that Porter, that she's sitting there at 10%. It looks like she's fading a little bit, and last night there, it didn't look good. But what I think what's going to happen in the voting booth, you have overwhelming support in the voting bill on all citizens for 2 issues in California, and that is the economy and homelessness. And homelessness is big. It's less of an issue in the Bay Area, but it is a giant issue to the voters in LA and Orange County especially.
Adam.
I'm just surprised that we're using the word homelessness in California, because we all know in California it's the unhoused. Yeah. Come on, guys. Let's have a little respect here. But the point is this. California, remember the scene in White Man Jump? It's like you'd rather look good and lose than look bad and win. The difference between what's going on in California is all they're doing is when you were a kid, you would just kind of pretend to eat your veggies and move it onto this side of the plate, then move it on this. All they're doing is sort of manufacturing this caring about what's going on in the California economy. They're trying to win this election and become the next governor of California who does nothing. And the reason I say does nothing is because if you look at Gavin Newsom's record on anything, tell me, what has he accomplished?
Spent a ton of money.
Tell me, what has he
He knows
accomplished?
how to spend money on a lot.
Yes,
of it.
he's got good hair. Great. What else?
62 more feet of the
$23
rail.
billion on fixing homelessness initiatives, and homelessness has only got worse. Whatever's going on in California is sort of indicative of what's going on in the Democratic Party. Their entire identity is just attached to the hip of we oppose Trump. They're not getting anything done, so they're just on stage trying to basically manufacture who's going to be the best governor when it's none of them is the answer. Vote for Republican.
I just hope. I just hope because this is a Democrat. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the Democrat leader. They don't care. And you make a good point, Adam. It's just whatever Trump, because they're going to attach everything Pat, Republican, everything Trump, same thing, cut from the same cloth. That's going to be the talking point. She had an opportunity right here. I don't care who you are, left or right, to look in the camera and go, F.
Yeah.
F. This guy is abysmal.
Yeah.
I don't care about the party. He has destroyed this freaking state. It's a laughing stock. He's a laughing stock because all he cares about is Donald Trump. And she could even say, I'm not a fan of Trump either, but she missed that moment, Adam, to just take that stand and be like, you know what? He's horrible. I'm going to do the complete opposite. Because everybody's incentivized to keep these homeless going. You know what I mean? All the money keeps going around, Ilan, to come back to their pockets, and the money's not going anywhere. It's fraud.
Well, think about what she said, Vinny. Think about what she said. She's a tough grader.
What does it take to get a C?
And he got a B.
How does one get a
if
C?
She was an easy grader. He'd have an A.
No,
so
but
those homeless encampments, if she was an easy grader, an A. Makes no sense.
Well, and she gave her husband a P for potatoes. But anyway, whoa. So here's what strategy was going on stage there. And Vinny, you make a great point.
Thank you.
How can she look in the camera and be so disingenuous? And that's it. Here's why. Because the Democrat big vault that holds the money that she's going to be using to run, part of what she raises, part of it does. If she attacks Newsom on that, she's giving Hilton momentum on that policy
100%.
point. So she's not going to do it because she doesn't have to defeat Gavin Newsom in the primary. She has to defeat Xavier Becerra in the primary and be one of the top two.
Got you.
That's what's going on. And they're not going to pick on each other.
Did Becerra answer the question, Rob? What did Becerra say?
He gave Newsom an A. I'll find that.
Oh my God.
So that's even,
even worse, see?
Yeah, but that's good. The reason why I say that's good is because to the Democrats, that helps who? That helps Katie. See, I'm not worried about this is how I process the election in California, Tom. I'm not looking at converting 100% the Democrats. I'm looking at which one of the candidates is going to get the 10, 15 reasonable Democrats that are sick and tired of Democrats that are willing to risk having a Republican for one term to see how it turns out. And the fact that Becerra said he'd give an A and Katie gave a B, to me, Katie wins in that debate, in that specific topic. Because me as a Democrat, I'm walking outside, homelessness everywhere. I'm afraid for my kids to go play outside. I'm going to be like, that guy gave an A? That guy she gave a B? I don't know who the hell she is, but guess what? I'm not going to vote Republican for the rest of my life, but I would much rather. So that helps Katie. But both of them push that 15% reasonable Democrats away to Hilton. That's all I care about. Anyways, let's go to the next story.
What grade would you give Gavin Newsom
if
you were going to give
an F? An
F.
F. It's not even, because the plus minus. Everything with me is plus minus. Every number you ever get judged on to see whether you're doing good or bad is your plus minus number. And what is a plus minus number? Say Tom's always been a straight C student, and he goes from being a straight C student to a straight B student. What's the plus minus?
He's gone up 20%.
He's gone up.
Depending on
he's
the grade.
gone up one grade.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Say Vinny's a 3A's 3B student. Okay, and historically he's been like that for 3 years. And Vinny goes to straight B's. What happened to Vinny?
Yeah, he went down.
Who am I celebrating?
Yeah.
This guy who's improving. This guy who's basically
what matters
coasting.
the most in life and business, politics, anything, it's your plus minus number. And Newsom's plus minus number are horrible. When did Newsom become the governor of the state of California, Robin? Can you find out what homelessness was in the state of California then and what it is now? You will see it's nearly doubled, if not up 60%. So his plus minus is negative 60%. That is an F. There's no place in the world that you're going to get an A, a B, a C, or a D with that kind of a grade. Newsom deserves an F. That's what he deserves. Nothing more, nothing less. And I hope the 15% Democrats in California will give Steve Hilton or somebody else Was Bianco on the stage as well, Rob?
I believe he was.
He was also on this. Okay, let's look at that, Rob. If you had it, take a look at this.
Prior to COVID,
when he took office, I don't know what it was. So look at that right there. From 151,000 people to 187,000 people in 2024. We don't even know what the numbers. Look at the plus minus.
Jeez.
Plus 36,000 people, minus 23% per capita. It went from 0.4 to 0.48. Yeah, that's an F. There's no way, to measure to give this guy an A.
And that percentage of the population is in densely populated regions, meaning you're looking at all of California, but the homelessness has increased in specific cities tremendously. So it's a much more significant number.
Yeah, you investors gave you $24 billion to fix a big problem. You wasted your investors' money of $24 billion and you didn't fix the problem. Do you think those investors should come back and keep giving you money?
Hell no.
That's how to look at it. The investors in this situation are who? Are the taxpayers.
Yeah, the people.
Who's the entrepreneur, the leader here? The operator?
It's him.
Newsom.
But he's a politician.
It's an F.
He's not an operator. I know you want to move on. I think this is important. You know my stance on California. Don't care. I don't mean this literally. Let it burn. Everyone come to Florida. Greatest state in the country.
No.
But what I do care about California is Gavin Newsom is the front runner for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And when he becomes this mainstream candidate, I don't want people to forget, look at the horrible job he did in California. So whether it's Katie Porter or
What's
Steve
your
Hilton,
question, Adam? I want to
my
move on to
question
the
is
next
this.
story.
What should the average voter who generally doesn't care about California take from this story to remember if and when Gavin Newsom is the candidate?
Yeah, so let me give you an idea. I had Dominic Tarczynski on the other day, a parliament member who, from EU, but he's from Poland. Yes, from EU, but he's Poland. So you know what I did? I went out there and I said, let me get some stuff about Poland on what makes Poland great. And I said, why are you guys not talking about this 24/7? And let me explain to you what I pulled up about Poland. Rob, you remember this? Just when you look at the stats of what Poland, if I read this to you, you're going to ask yourself, this is crazy. This is this going to come up or should I go through? Look at this. You ready? Mm-hmm. GDP growth in Poland grew 3%, EU 1.1. Okay? Unemployment in Poland 3, EU 5.9%, meaning Poland's unemployment is half of EU's. GDP grew 170% since 2004. Poland has the lowest crime, Adam, you ready? Not in EU, in the world.
Wow.
Poland
in the world. EU, lowest crime. That's what they brag about, okay? Homicide rate, it's a half per 100,000 homicide rate. Possibly lowest out of all Western countries, okay? Labor market absorption, refugees, 69% of employment rate for them. Foreign direct investment, 2.2% versus 1.5% for EU. I can go on and on with that. Now, let me give you crazier things that EU does, that Poland does, which is going to sound a little weird for you, but I'm going to read it to you. Mandatory ID laws, okay? You are required to carry an ID and show it to police upon request. In America, that's not a federal law. Hell, you can vote in 15, 16 states without even an ID, right? Drinking in public places is often illegal unless designated. Okay, Sunday trading restrictions. Retail stores on Sunday, all closed. You know who's open? Gas stations and churches. It's the only place you can go to buy something. Let me continue. Strong restriction on sex education. There is no sex education to minors in Poland.
Great.
There is no sex education to minors in Poland. You send your kids to school, they can't teach your kids anything about sex education, right? You'll see where I'm going with this. No same-sex marriage. Definitely no same-sex adoption.
Same-sex marriage.
No same-sex marriage. No same-sex adoption. Adoption. There's only like 6 countries in the world that have that. Christian countries. Romania is one of them. It's not that big of a list. Illegal to promote totalitarian ideologies. You promote Nazism, communism, other totalitarian systems, you're arrested.
Illegal to promote totalitarian philosophies.
Illegal. Blasphemy is a criminal offense if you publicly insult any religion or religious symbols. You can't do it. It's a fine or 2 years in prison. Now, you read this, and a person may say, what? That is extreme. You know what I told Dominique to do? I said, you guys should put this on a page and promote it everywhere.
Like the 10 Commandments of Poland.
The world, and by the way, you know how much foreign tourists they got last year? What do you think the number is for Poland?
Tourism. That come in?
Foreign tourists coming to Poland, not within the state moving, foreign coming in. What do you think the number is?
I don't even know what that is.
Just take a wild guess. What do you think it is?
A couple million.
Like,
people.
to tell you, Croatia, Dubrovnik gets like 4 million a year. What do you think theirs is?
10?
28 million.
Stop it.
26
That's a
to 28
massive
million
number.
to
Are going to
Poland,
Poland?
because it's so safe.
Let's go.
People,
And beautiful.
It's beautiful,
Poland's also
safe. And so
beautiful.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Whoever on the Republican Party, RNC, whatever it is, create a one-liner of every single one of Newsom's failures and put it on repeat, blast it, promote it everywhere starting now. Don't wait. It needs to be fed to everybody.
Right.
How many things this guy failed in? Because anything is reaffirmed over and over and over again. Eventually, people are going to be like, what the hell am I going to do with a guy like this? So to me,
No results is what you're saying.
I think you have to put his resume on blast from the right.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's why I asked the
100%.
question.
That's the solution. Just
I
don't
wanna-
let people forget the failures.
If you got good, promote it. If you got bad, enemy, promote it. This is a part you have to
I fully agree.
promote the opposite with them. Hopefully we will see. Let me get to the next story. President Trump comes out. Rob, do you have this with the Lebanon and Israel?
Yes.
He comes out saying Israel-Lebanon ceasefire to be extended by 3 weeks. Okay, by 3 weeks. And he said maybe they even like each other. Rob, is this the clip you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm told this is a rather historic meeting because these countries have been bordering each other for many, many years, and it doesn't happen much, although they like each other. I found that out today, and I've sort of heard about that. They actually like each other, Lebanon and Israel. And we had a great meeting with the very high officials of Lebanon and very high officials of Israel, and we think that the president of Lebanon and the prime minister of Israel over the next couple of weeks will be coming here. They've agreed to an additional 3 weeks of, no firing, ceasefire, no more firing. Let's see. We hope that happens. It's not going to happen between them, but they do have Hezbollah to think about.
Okay, so Ilan, where do you stand with this?
I think Trump's hilarious, number one, saying that they like each other. Look, do I think in the future that there's a possibility that Lebanon, once you have a decay of Hezbollah, that they form better relations with Israel? I would love for that to happen, but not right now. So I think I think it shows Trump has actual tremendous influence in the region over Israel. As much as people say Israel's controlling the United States, here you have an example where, once again, Trump pushed for Israel to do something, and they listened, they abided. And I think deep down, Trump is, this is going to sound weird. Trump came in hoping to create more stability and peace in the region. I think in his own weird way, he's actually accomplishing it. I would really like to see more stability between Lebanon and Israel.
Tom.
Well, Bibi Netanyahu has never been the easiest guy for U.S. presidents to deal with at all. You've heard things from Trump, hey, we liked a couple of the guys, but they killed them, sort of signaling there was maybe not perfect alignment there with with battle plans and stuff. And I think what he's talking about here, I think behind closed doors, some diplomacy got done, and I think they got some progress here. Because if it is truly a 3-week ceasefire, to put some accords in place, that's good for the innocent citizens that are all over Lebanon, the Christian citizens that are there that have nobody representing them. Rockets in the morning go to the south toward Israel. Rockets in the afternoon go to the north toward Lebanon, and I'm underneath both of them. Right. Yep. So I think some diplomacy got done, and I think it is kind of funny to hear him say, they've been neighbors for many years. Yeah, they've always been neighbors. It's like,
They love each other like 5 years ago.
It's like they just moved in 5 years ago. Oh, you're moving in. Oh, hi, welcome. But to come back and say, hey, they like each other. They do like each other. I think he's trying to put out an olive branch there, and he's trying to put a message, Pat.
Yeah.
And I think it's positive.
Adam.
Look, I think at the end of the day, people are sick and tired of fighting wars. Every single day, every single year, every single decade since 1948 in that region. And then again, since 1979, I think people of Lebanon are sick and tired of their country being hijacked by Iran. The whole conversation about, Israel controls America. Okay, show me some proof, not just some BS. But you know who actually controls Lebanon? Iran. Because what did they used to call Lebanon many, many decades ago? The Paris of the Middle East. Yeah. When's the last time you heard that? Now it's the Iran of the Middle East, just not the Gulf side of things. The people of Lebanon, and I have a lot of friends that are Lebanese. We have a friend here who's Lebanese. You know who they hate more than Israel, the IDF? Hezbollah. So, we talked about the other day. You said 80%, this conversation you had with Kiriakou, where he was just plain wrong. You said 80 to 90% of people of Iran are sick and tired of the IRGC. Follow the numbers, follow the money. It's the exact same thing going on in Lebanon. And here's the last point. Speaking of follow the money and stability through strength. If you look at your neighbors, right, in the Golan Heights, whatever's covering Lebanon, Syria, that area, if you look over, you look at Israel, 50 years ago, the economy wasn't that great. They weren't a capitalist society. Now you look over from Lebanon, you look over from Syria, Israel is one of the greatest economic booms we've ever seen, especially in the Middle East. Israel is the Silicon Valley of the Middle East. And you're in Iran, and you're in Lebanon, and you're in Syria, and you're in Gaza, and you're looking over and you're like, these damn Jews, what did they do? It's like they just worked, earned, saved, and invested. Where you're trying to build terror tunnels, they're building capitalist cities. And I think the good people of Lebanon, who are some of the worst on the misery index, unemployment and inflation, are like, can we just have a normal freaking life and not fight every single day of our life and have a good society for our kids to grow up in? Let's do it. And that's, I think, cooler heads are prevailing.
I think in regard to the ceasefire, great. Anytime there's people not dying is amazing. I keep going back to what is victory going to be? Because I don't think you have to get rid of the terrorists, okay? So it'll be a good 3 weeks. Hopefully it lasts, but it will never end. It'll never end, Pat. They already took 20% of the land, but my thing is, terrorists, they're always going to be there. So that will never stop.
But Israel has shown it's willing to concede land in exchange for true peace, and every time it's done that, it's either, like I've talked about in the past, it's either been met with, sadly, retaliation that backfired, or it's been met with sustainable peace when the other side actually wants it. So Israel has come forward many times. Also, I do believe, deep down that the Lebanese Christian population wants better relations.
Of course.
100%.
Of course they do.
And Adam's 100% right that there's a great tragedy in the Middle East, not just in Lebanon, but across the Middle East in general, where there's been a decay of all this opportunity. Tons of natural resources, tons of culture, tons of history. These are places that tourists would love to visit. And yet, because of extremism, which is a fundamental issue across the board in the region, there's a complete decay of virtually every single country. Lebanon, Gaza. Sorry, I'll let you go, Tom.
I'm agreeing. I'm nodding in agreement.
Well, because what I want to ask you, though, what is victory in regard to, because those extremists are there. By the way, they're not going anywhere. They're multiplying. I'm just trying, I'm trying to be hopeful.
Yeah, victory looks...
How do you win?
It's hard to pull the weeds out of the garden.
Victory looks like a complete cultural shift, not just in one region, but across the region. You see it in UAE. You see it in a lot of the Gulf states. They are trying to come back to the table and say there's a way forward where we can integrate with Western societies and see growth in our populations. You know why? Because they're putting a priority for growth, prosperity, and the benefit of their people over religion. Yet in a lot of these other countries, and what Iran's motivation is, and what Hezbollah's motivation is, and Hamas, they've indicated not to only Israel, not to only the entire world, but to their own people, we don't care about you. Our priority is destruction. So sometimes if your enemy, or if the person you're trying to negotiate with is starting from the fundamental point of, I want to destroy you no matter what, it's very hard. You're asking an impossible question because that's their starting point. So Hezbollah is the problem. And
I'm not debating that. I'm just saying, how do you, it's not, but here's my question. Do you think it's going to stop?
I do.
You think extremists, how do you get rid of extremists that are everywhere in your country?
How do you get rid of that in America?
Yeah.
That's what
No, but you're asking a very weird question because to me, okay, how do you get rid of alcoholics? Go ahead.
What do you mean?
How do you get rid of alcoholics? So many people driving drunk on the 95 freeway. Right here, by the way. This exit is number one most people dying in car accidents. Right here, 95 in Cyprus. I don't know if you know. It's the number one place in America on freeways of the most fatalities driving is right here.
Stop it. Right here, couple blocks away?
Yeah, it's number one.
I don't drive.
So here's a question for you. How do you get rid of alcoholics, alcohol drinking and driving? How do you do that?
I mean, you can't stop people from drinking.
So what? So
you can't stop people from. I mean, you want to get people help. You want people to talk to them. You want to put them in AA.
How do you get people to stop using cocaine?
Stop putting it in the country. Stop getting cocaine in the country. Stop letting people bring it over the borders, and just stop getting it here. And then people will stop if they can't get it here.
Will people still find a way to get cocaine?
Yes,
absolutely.
Will people still find a way to get alcohol? Prohibition, make it illegal, all that. Will they still find a way to do it?
Of course.
Of course. So why though? Because what's going to be constant forever? What will be constant?
Human
The
failing.
addiction to
Human beings.
Yeah.
As long as we have human beings, what do we have? We have conflict.
Yes.
Conflict is never going away. Now, here's the question, though. Should we just say, well, nothing's going to happen, let's just not do anything?
Right.
Because what kind of a mindset is that, to say something like that? Or can we say, can we find a way to decrease it by 2%? Can we find a way to decrease it by 4%? Can we find a way to decrease it by 10%? Yes, we can. And so we're in pursuit of that, right? In your family, if you think about in your family, do divorces happen? Yes. Does domestic violence happen?
Yes.
Yes. Do people filing bankruptcy happen? Yes. Do people overextending themselves financially happen? All of those things are what? Yes.
Yes.
Realities, yeah.
Should we say, well, people are never going to stop doing that, so let's just not even do anything about it? No.
No.
I think the effort is to try to pursue to decrease. And all you can deal with is who are the leaders today. That's all you can deal with. You cannot deal with who the leaders are going to be tomorrow, whose son is going to take over one day and be the leader. You know, you have to figure out a way to find a way to make things better today. And this is purely for the reasonable players, not the emotional players. You have to decide which one you are. You're either part of the emotional community or you're part of the reasonable community. The emotional community just wants emotions. The reasonable community wants to find solutions. It's not easy. It's annoying. It's boring. It's easier to say nothing will ever change. How dramatically, how better you think your mom sleeps today than she did 4 years ago?
A lot better.
Why do you think?
Because I've changed.
So
my life and
give me her peace of mind with you right now.
Oh, her peace of mind knows that I'm surrounded about people that care about me and love me. I've kicked anything that was in my life that was trying to destroy me with drinking or partying or any of that stuff. I've turned myself to Christ and everything's.
How much better do you sleep?
A lot better.
What if we said it's Vinny? Vinny's always going to be like that.
Bingo.
What if we said Vinny's always going to be like that?
Meaning
Vinny's never going to change. Vinny's a womanizer, alcoholic, drunk, just wants to do. That's Vinny. What if people said that? What if people accepted that? That's not leadership. It's saying no. What if he chooses to change? What if he chooses to make an improvement? What happens to the world? What happens to his mother? What happens to Vinny? It opens it up. I'm a regular guy. I'm not a guy that went to, what do you call it, a Ivy League school, nothing. I didn't even go to regular states college. They wouldn't take me there. I barely made it into community college. And community college, they let anybody in. So what happened? Somebody believed. And it was minor progress. So to me, I like the fact that we're working on making minor progress. The part you have to realize, Vinny, is the hardest thing to do. Do you know what eventually gets... What content do you think is more exciting to consume? Divisiveness, nasty, calling out, versus somebody that's going out there talking about how to improve your life, better your life, you can make a change. What do you think gets more eyeballs?
the drama stuff is always going to be the one.
Tony Robbins tried to have a TV show. You know how long it lasted? 2 or 3 episodes. NBC. Type in Tony Robbins NBC show. How long did it last?
Because
you know why?
Positive.
Yeah.
Because he was positive.
Now look at Jerry
How long
Springer.
did Jerry Springer last?
It would still be going if
Many
he
years.
didn't pass away.
How long? Because people, look how many
2
episodes he did.
episodes, only airing 2.
Tony Robbins, who's changed millions of people's lives, goes and does a show with NBC. It lasts 2 episodes until they're like, people are not interested in positive stuff.
Yeah, people like drama.
People want drama and negativity, conflict, change, all this stuff. So if you can find a way to be part of the community to say, you know what? I think we can do something about it. Great. I think we need more of that. You know, because the world today is so, I'm telling you, you go on Twitter and you ask yourself, how long can you be on X? If you go on, I'm willing to bet to do this. Put a blood pressure machine that's constantly running on you, and I would love to do it on 20 different people and put them on different platforms. Go on Twitter and go up and read the stories, newsfeed. See what happens to your blood pressure 10, 20, 30 minutes later.
I did this to myself, by the way.
Did you really?
Then go watch comedy. Then go read the Bible. Then go read a self-help book. Then go read a business book. See what happens to your blood pressure. The world today is a different world, and we have to be aware of it. But for me, the reasonable players who are trying to make progress, more power to them. The emotional people that are trying to get eyeballs, you do your thing. The market long-term is going to favor who?
The
reasonable
people that
place.
bring
Always
people
does that.
together. I
Always
fully
does that.
agree with you, Pat. And if I could just kind of add a little icing on the case, you're absolutely right. How's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? You ask these questions. Well, let's look at some case examples. Look what he did. The guy did Bukele in El Salvador. El Salvador was the most dangerous country in the Western Hemisphere a decade ago. And what was the root of their problem? Focus with me now. What was the root of their problem?
The criminals.
MS-13.
Yes.
MS-13 is Hezbollah. They are the cancer in society, where you have 80, 90% of society. It's like, can we just live a normal life and not kill each other every day over religious differences or military differences? Can we just do that? And what did he do? He flipped our whole country around. That's hopefully what can happen in Lebanon. And why Lebanon? Pat, you would know this. I don't know if there's another society, civilization in the Middle East that has Sunnis, Shiites, Christians, all types of religions living and working together. And then you have these Shiite radicals saying, nope, we're taking over the country. And this is like, I'm taking my country back. I think the people of Lebanon finally are like, we're done with this. We're taking our country back. And I hope they do.
Okay, if you want to run. I just wanted to say to Vinny also, in terms of being hopeful, when we see a snapshot of something, even though it might be 10 years, 20 years, it feels like forever. It feels like it's never going to end. But you do see sustainable relations between Israel and other countries in the Middle East that you would have never believed would have happened. The fact that there's sustainable peace.
Bahrain, Oman, UAE, Morocco.
Even Egypt back in the
Sudan,
day, if
exactly.
you would have looked at the relationship, Jordan and Israel, if you would have looked at the relationship, just the entire Middle East from the start when the Arab League wanted to destroy all of Israel. I mean,
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's this. I know you want to move on.
Adam, you
everyone
did this
knows
3
Iran's the
Hang
bad
on, I'm
guy.
moving on, guys.
Iran's
I'm
the
moving on.
bad guy.
Okay, so let's go through this here. All right, Spain migrants, 500,000 Spain migrants come in. Madrid, the state, comes out, and Madrid says, where's that page, Rob? Let me see.
24.
Okay, 24. Madrid government appeals against Spain's mass amnesty for illegal migrants that are coming in. 500,000 people, like, let's take them. Rob, do you have that video of what it looks like?
Yes.
Okay, let's go through a couple videos. And then, Vinny, I think you got something here as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. This is Spain.
Oh my God.
Looks like fun, I'm not going to lie. España.
Where are they coming from? Do we know?
Northern Africa.
Yeah, they said sub-Saharan Africans coming to Spain.
So that's one of the clips. Is this, what's the other one that you have, Rob?
Here's a newscast where they're talking about the migrants overrunning and overwhelming the government system.
Go for it.
Massive line of immigrants wrapped all the way around this fairground.
500,000.
And as you can see now, this is the scene. Most of them are gathered right here inside. They tell us they've been sleeping on the street, and tensions have flared, even leading to clashes, as no one wanted to lose their spot. This is the space that the city council has set up.
Can you imagine that in Spain?
And this is outside of the foreign registry office where people are getting registered as citizens.
Go for it.
this is crazy.
This is Spain.
Yeah.
This is
Spain.
This is Spain. Okay. So now, when you look at this, you know, Madrid's government appeals against Spain's mass amnesty. The Supreme Court of Spain on Wednesday accepted an appeal request spearheaded by Isabel Díaz Ayuso, president of the Community of Madrid, against a mass amnesty plan for illegal migrants being executed by Socialist government of Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Miguel Angel Garcia Martin, Minister of Presidency of Madrid, and a local government spokesperson explained on Wednesday press conference that the Madrid government filed the appeal against the mass amnesty decree on grounds that it seriously affects the provision of public services in Madrid without establishing mechanisms for funding and resource allocation. So they're sitting there saying, can you please allow us to have other options? Rob, play that one clip that Vinny has, the one that shows.
You want the EU one first,
The
Pat?
EU one, yeah. The
This
one
is
that you
illegal immigrants in the European Union coming in. Guys, each dot, it's 100 people. Each little dot that you guys are going to see, look at this.
That is
Look
bonkers.
at that. Look at that freaking invasion, bro. Syria, 200,000. Look at the Syria, Morocco. It keeps switching from 2019. And then look, boom, 9, 10. Look, remember, each dot is 100.
And it's saying where they're coming from. So go back to the clip to see what the countries are, Rob.
Yeah.
Go back, and if you can slow down the speed Do me a favor, if you can go to half a speed, click on it. So Albania's first, Afghanistan, Morocco, Algeria. Then Tunisia comes in, Pakistan bumps in, Afghanistan becomes number one. Where they're coming in from, Syria becomes number one. Eritrea, Iraq becomes 3. Look at that. Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria at the top. Then
is this all to the EU or to Spain?
All
EU.
EU.
This is bonkers.
And do you know where not one went to? Poland.
Yep. And Hungary is also pretty hardcore.
Not one went to Poland, just so you know. Tom, your thoughts on this with Spain, 500,000, Madrid, what they're talking about, what it's going to look like. How much is Spain changing forever? Will it ever be the Spain that we went to 10, 20, 30 years ago?
No, it's over. And this is what the globalists want. The globalists want to break the back of the Western states. And they want to break the traditions of the Western states, specifically Christianity and Catholicism specifically. Because if you break family and you break the foundation of faith by overwhelming the voters that are no longer voting on the base of those foundations, then by definition you've broke it. And then what you lose is culture. Culture is lost through dilution. You have more people there and you lose your culture. Number one. And people, you're being racist. No, I'm not being racist. There is, it's not racist if you live in Poland and you like living in Poland and you're Polish and you work there and your kids went to school there and everything works and it's safe and it's a well-run country. What's racist about that? And then this is what the globalists want. The globalists want to flood it so that they get permanent liberal. See, how do the globalists get stopped, Pat? By patriots. And patriots, by definition, are conservative-minded in the name of their country, right? Not racist patriots. So here we have patriots that want things to be the same, but guess what? You are outnumbered by a permanent voting majority. And that is what the globalists want, because they want a globalist government. They want one world government.
Ilan.
They want one world control. That's it.
Well, I think on Tom's point, there's been a unity between radical leftists and radical Islamists. The question is who's going to win. In Europe, it looks like the Islamists are the ones winning, not the globalists in the end of the day. It's really tragic to see Spain falling to this, one of the most beautiful places in the world. And what you talk about culture and preservation of culture, preservation of them, I don't think it's wrong for a country. And I know this is controversial to say we're a majority Christian nation. We want to stay a majority Christian nation. I know that a lot of people are offended by that. I don't have a problem with the Middle East, the countries like Saudi Arabia saying we want to stay majority Muslim. I guarantee you if Christians started pouring into the point of creating a majority Christian nation, they would cut it off pretty fast. But this is the game that leftists play. We'll accuse you of being a terrible person so you concede to what we want. Meanwhile, migrants are coming in. The rape statistics out of these places are atrocious. And they're trying to cover up for it. It's a game of power at the expense of the population. It's tragic.
Pat, I want to ask you, make the argument for the people that are letting it happen, the leaders of Spain, the politicians. Give me an argument of how they could say, this is good for us. These boats of people that have nowhere to go, all your taxpayers' money is going to pay for it. What's the argument for them?
These poor people, it's our job to take care of them. We can help them out. We have room. We have space. We can figure out a way to support these people. There is nothing wrong with that. We should be able to do this. There's a clip I want to show you, Rob, that girl who's talking to this guy who's saying, you can't come here and ask us questions. She says, why not? Watch how quickly the hypocrisy comes out. If you can refresh and play it from the beginning, Rob, I want them to see this and then turn on the audio because Instagram has this one thing that you have to see this clip. Watch this. Go ahead.
Y'all to get out of here with your sign.
What do you mean? Oh, you have borders on this campus.
No, we have this space reserved as an official event.
Yeah, so you have borders. Where's your borders at?
This whole green area right here.
Oh, so you want to control who comes in and out. Like an ICE agent or a border patrol
agent. He has a lobster
hat.
Now he has no clue what to say.
I would really encourage you on a rally on a campus. This is an event for sanctuary campuses. You probably shouldn't act like a fascist border patrol agent. You should take down your borders and let whoever wants on the space, okay?
Amazing.
Look at his hat. It's a lobster hat.
Why is your lip quivering?
I want to go to Red Lobster now because he got.
You got.
Because you've been called out on how you're acting exactly.
Bingo. Great
like how
job.
you don't, what you're advocating against. You're acting just like them.
Nothing.
So
this interview's over.
Because there is no answer.
Nothing.
To have sanctuary on this campus.
Yep.
Put your money where your mouth is. Leave me alone and let me have sanctuary on this campus, okay?
We need y'all to.
And that's just. indoctrinated. They have like that's when your brain goes, wait a minute, you don't know what to do.
But this is why girls like her, Nick Shirley, what they're doing. Is it Nick Sorter is the other one? Is it Sorter? And there's another one, Nick Friedman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nick.
no,
Nate.
Nate Friedman.
Nate.
These guys are doing such an important job of going out there talking to these guys. Adam, where are you at with this story?
So we're focusing on Spain, but I think there's a bigger picture going on here that we're not discussing, and it's the whole open border to the third world for wherever you are in the world. So in America, it's shutting down the border, right? And in the EU, it's basically opening up all the countries to what's going on from the importing the third world. There's two speeches I want you to pay attention to, and this comes back to Trump. Everything comes back to Trump. Come back to Trump. When he came down in 2015, you talked about the rape, the crime, the this and that. What's the speech he gave? He said, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're drug dealers, there's rapists, there's criminals, and I guess there's some good people, right? That's the exact same thing he gave this speech to the UN, 6 months ago. And I said, pay attention. This is one of the most important speeches he's ever given. People were like, yeah, whatever, it's dismissive. He basically said, Europe, what are you doing? He says, my family, I think he's Scottish, is from Scottish descent. He goes, I have great respect. I have great, profound love for the people of Europe. Don't do this to yourself. This is the suicidal empathy you talk about. Yeah. And we just saw a case example of a guy, he froze. I mean, he Mitch McConnell. He's like, oh, what? You got. Because you ever see the things where it's like, we should let people in the country. Yes, of course, we got to let them in. Get out people. All right, would you let them in your house? Oh, yeah, my roommate.
I have a small apartment.
You understand, I live with my parents. So it's rules for thee, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what it is.
By the way, have you seen the number of rapes in England, Wales in 2000 versus today? Have you seen those numbers?
I'm sure it's skyrocketing.
Okay, so let me show you this. England 2000, Wales, total rapes 8,593. Today over 68,000 rapes. Germany in 2000, 8,133 rapes. Today in Germany, 39,000. France, rapes in 2000, 7,500. Rapes in France today, 42,400. Rapes in Poland in 2000, you ready? 2,399. You know how many rapes in Poland today? 1,127. It's split in half. Yeah. It's split in half. Data never lies. It never lies when you see what's going on. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Yeah. By the way, I went to Spain. First time I went to Barcelona, Spain was in 07, 08. And we went to Madrid. I've been to Madrid multiple times. We went to Madrid. We went to Barcelona. We went to Portugal. And we stayed at the Arts Hotel. We went to just an amazing, beautiful place. Yeah, it's obviously a different story today with what happened to it.
It's tragic what's happening.
Could I know we showed the EU one. Can Rob play the 15 million illegal aliens were allowed into our country, looks like?
This is under Biden.
This is under Joe Biden and Alejandro Mayorkas. This is an invasion, guys. And every dot, remember, every dot is 100 people. And this is what they did. They did this on purpose. And Trump and Tom Homan have proven this was clearly by design. Okay? So my opinion is that this was actual treason. This is on some like Trojan horse letting them come in. And this is why exactly I tell people, as much as the fluff in his hair out and we make fun, you cannot let the Democratic power come back or people come back into power because that's the first thing that they're doing. They even said it.
Oh, yeah.
Like what did what's that little old bald guy?
James Carville.
James Carville said, we're going to open up the damn border. That's exactly what they're going to do.
You know what the difference is? Yeah. Here's a big difference. Yeah. And look, I'm not with it at all whatsoever. We came here legally, and we tried to come here in 84 legally, and we couldn't get here till November 28, 1990. And we waited until we got here legally, right? Green card, I joined the military, the whole nine. If you go back to that, Rob, the number of 2020 to 2024, what Vinny just gave you, you know what is interesting about that number? Look at this. Look where they're coming in from. Okay, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Cuba. What's their religion? They're Catholic.
Bingo.
Yeah. Yes.
What do Catholics do?
Pray, go to church.
They're great for society.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not supporting illegal immigration whatsoever. It's breaking the law. These are 15 million people that broke the law, right? But at least they come and they assimilate.
Well,
at least they come and they assimilate. At least they come and they're going and contributing. This doesn't mean They're not sending their cartel. This doesn't mean there's not gangsters and criminals. No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying to you. But at least these guys, and by the way, for 2024, what may end up backfiring on Democrats is the following. What happened to Hispanics in 2024 election?
They voted for Trump.
What happened? So you realize, this is going to sound very weird on what I'm saying right now to you when we're looking at the comparison between the two. This may end up backfiring on Democrats long term.
100%. Because you're bringing in a population that cares a lot about God.
They love America. They love God. They're conservative. They're living good lives. You know, you ever seen a Hispanic mother, what they do to their kids? The kids fear. Like, it's a very different thing that they have. So I don't know. I'm not saying, I think we go through the whole process, everything that they're doing, but the reality of it is it's a very different values and principles that are going into Europe than those that are coming here.
100%.
Those that are at least coming here, they are dying to come here. It's like a dream to come here. They want to go change. And a part of the benefit, which is unfair to our competitors, we live in the Western Hemisphere, which our neighbors, relatively, they are all same religion for the most part.
Yeah.
Tell me what's a Muslim nation on the Western Hemisphere?
No, it doesn't exist. Dearborn.
No, but give me a country.
Minnesota.
Though. That's it. It's the only place.
Well, can I agree with you, but give you a little bit of pushback?
Yeah, of course.
I do agree with you on the assimilate thing, or I do agree with you on the religion thing. The assimilation thing is a slippery slope, and it's tricky. Because some of my frustration in Miami, and I love Miami, I love my gente, my Cubanos. Do you know how many Cuban people I know in Miami that have been here for 10 years, 20 years,
English.
50 years?
Yeah.
Zero English.
That is the problem. Yeah.
Zero English. By the way, you can go into California. I'm sure there's Mexicans, you know, in Texas. But here's the difference. They work hard. They keep to themselves. They drive the Uber. They work. And some try to improve and get better in life. Respect to that. You know, they say you're only strong as your weakest link. The same people who are coming to Europe for a better life, supposedly, the weakest link are terrorists. Full-on terrorists. So they're coming in to London, to Paris, to Brussels. They're doing this, and they're not trying to assimilate. They're trying to dominate.
I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to the next story. Okay, next story I want to get into is Trump telling anybody that is landing, putting mines in the Strait of Hormuz to shoot him down and kill him. I don't know the exact words he used, but Rob, I'm sure you're going to find it. This story, what page is this story, Rob, by the way? And I'm trying to see where the story is at that he's talking about.
That is page 7. Trump issues shoot and kill order.
Is this addendum or is it?
Main packet.
Main packet. Okay, so let me go through. Trump issues shoot and kill order in a dramatic Hormuz escalation as Pentagon posts chilling video of U.S. troops seizing ships carrying Iranian oil amid unraveling ceasefire. Rob, if you want to, this is it. Okay. I've ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boats, small boats, though they may be, their naval ships are all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. That is the putting in mines in the water in the Strait of Hormuz. There is to be no hesitation. Additionally, our minesweepers are clearing the strait right now. I'm hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay? So he's saying this. And Rob, I think you got a clip on this one as well if you want to play the clip.
I do. It's the seizure of the ships by the IRGC as well as the United States.
Right, because both are saying that they seized it, right? So play both of the clips. And then, Tom, I want to come to you first.
Here's the U.S. first.
Go for it.
Vessel Majestic X, we intend to conduct the boarding of your vessel.
Here's who to who.
United States to Iran.
They're seizing an Iranian ship?
Cargo ship.
Cargo ship, okay. Okay, and then flip it and do the other one. Rob, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. But this is Iranians.
It is.
And what do we know about the ship?
Here's this the part that everybody's been showing online right here.
Them getting into it. These are Iranians.
Yep. According to the IRGC.
Yeah, it looks like a staged, like a bad production video.
Does it look like a real video, or does it look like an AI
It's a
video?
camera guy. No, I'm saying it's like a
camera guy
like
up close shot.
Like an up close shot. He probably did like 3 or 4 takes. They're like, look scarier. You're not as scary as the guy before you. Your eyes weren't.
I need your head sock to be dirty.
Right to the camera a little bit.
You didn't say Allahu Akbar. Cut. Quick.
Tom, go ahead, Tom.
You're holding the gun backwards. So the Daily Mail is typically a conservative. It leans conservative, right? It leans right wing, and things about nationalism, and it talks a lot about that. So when the Daily Mail is saying Trump is a shoot to kill in dramatic Hormuz escalation, wow, what is more escalating than we've been spending a month sinking Iranian ships?
That's what I don't.
And post chilling video. Chilling video, bad guy gets shot is suddenly a chilling video. So I'm kind of disappointed in the Daily Mail. But what this says, Pat, is Daily Mail is part of this growing cheering that's coming that's saying we want this war over, we want all this stuff done. But the point here is they're putting mines. Let's look at what everybody's getting upset about. The Iranians last week said, I don't know where the mines are. I lost my mines. Where? I've lost my mind and I've lost my mines. I don't know. I don't remember where I put them.
Tom.
Says, gosh, where are they? And now this week they come in and they're putting little boats in specific areas and putting new mines down. Really? So you're not worried about that little boat going over and accidentally running to a mine that you forgot where it is. And he's going over there, what I talked about before. Remember the southern lanes? The lanes that go tightly around the horn there? Mm-hmm. And those are together. The lane that goes this way, the 2-mile buffer in the middle, and the lane that goes that way. And then they've moved them all the way up to be close to Iran, where they could also have a toll booth. So what's going on here is Trump is doing exactly what he should be doing to keep international freighters with unarmed sailors that are just taking goods and oil back and forth, Pat. And Trump is saying, hey, if you're putting more mines out there and you're trying to do this, shoot to kill. You're an enemy combatant and you're armed with a mine, which makes you a soldier, which makes you an enemy, which makes you a target, which makes you on the really short end on the actuarial table. And so...
Ilan.
No, it's exactly as Tom said. It's become a binary. You're either for what's happening or you're against what's happening. And if you're for what's happening and what Trump is doing in Iran right now, and you believe it was a viable action to go in at this time, then what he just said about the mine and everything you just said, Tom, is absolutely correct. If you don't, you're going to have a problem with any action Trump takes. My question to people is, what burden of proof at this point would you be okay with for our continued presence in Iran? I mean, they've proven they've enriched uranium past 60%. Scientists have come out and said they were developing enough to have nuclear power, nuclear bombs. They lied about their intermediate range ballistic missiles. They lie about virtually everything. And as much as people say this is going to be World War III, I've heard that a million times. This is how you prevent World War III. So I think the fundamental binary here is I'm okay with what we're doing in Iran right now. I don't see that this is so controversial to take out people who are literally mining a strait. So that's where I'm at with it.
Vinny.
No, I mean, I agree. It's like at this point, we're past the point of no return, and it's a war. And in war, you want to win. If I saw somebody online that was literally cheering for us to lose, meaning us losing American soldiers. And I get, guys, we could argue all day. I know the people out there are like, what? I get it. We've already had those conversations. But where we are right now, if you are cheering against us, that means you're okay with American soldiers dying. I'm sorry, that's a stupid attitude. And he's right. And by the way, that video, that reminds me of some of those videos that ISIS and them were making of like fake, like doing this video, where they were taking hostages. It wasn't hostages. They were actually...
The little missile robot thing that came to Trump's golf course. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was gonna
videos to scare people. So it's like, it's crazy. Like, you have a boat that's going to be dropping mines. We're going to blow you up. I'm sorry. That's where we're at.
So to me, the word that I keep thinking about when I'm talking about this thing in Iran is the whole point of a chokehold, right? So there's chokeholds and there's choke points. Hormuz, the Strait of Hormuz, which no one basically ever heard of until 6 months ago when this conflict really got going. Strait of Hormuz is one of the top 5 choke points in the world, right? Strait of Malacca, you talk about the Suez Canal, you talk about the Panama Canal. 20%, I believe, of the world's oil comes through, energy comes through this. What United States is doing, we went to the UFC fight the other day. What United States is doing is basically they came from behind Iran and they have them in a full-on chokehold. And they're choking them out What's the thing that Joe Rogan is? He's got him in a rear naked chokehold. He's going to choke him out. That's what they're doing economically. But here's the rub. Timing matters here. Because as you're choking them out, how much money are they losing a day? $500 million?
Yeah.
500 million, do some quick math. So that's $1 billion every 2 days. That's $3 billion a week. That's, over $10 billion a month, choking them out. And then eventually they're going to not have any money. Now, Trump has to do this strategically and methodically and with enough time for him to recover before the midterms. So I think you need to have at least the summer to build up to the midterms, because Trump maybe understands that he can still win the midterms. I'm not writing them off yet. If Trump can basically say, we won, we've choked them out, look at us now, who was right, who was wrong. Vinny was right about one thing. Their entire association is they're rooting against Trump. The Democratic Party, or the woke right, the trans right, whatever you want to call them, they're rooting against America at the end of the day. They want our military to lose. They want Iran to win. That's the problem I have. Let's choke them out.
Let me get into this story here. So this is a very interesting story of how bad policies pushes good people away from your city. Rob, you have the clip of Mamdani saying what he's going to be doing to Ken Griffin's house. And then Ken Griffin responds back. Now he responds back at Mamdani. If the audience, if you haven't seen this clip is, this guy says, we are no longer going to let billionaires having penthouses here that they no longer live in. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to tax the rich on second properties that they have. And then Ken Griffin responds back in a very simple way. Hey, no problem. You think that's a lot of money for me? Watch what I'm pulling away from New York. But first, watch the socialist, communist, Islamist Mamdani, mayor of New York City, giving his pitch on taxing the rich. Go ahead, Rob.
When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million. This pied-à-terre tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty, since again, they don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets, safer neighborhoods. As mayor, I believe everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city. And some, a little bit more than others.
Okay.
Happy tax
day. So you can pause that right there. Okay, so that is Mr. Tax Guy who wants to come and tax you. Ken Griffin, who left Chicago. I believe he left Illinois, if I'm not mistaken.
Chicago,
very wealthy guy.
Moved to Florida.
Moved to Florida. Is building a big place, big property, Miami. Yes, and I think he's even got something in Palm Beach. Yes. He turns around and says, "Oh, okay. So this is what you want to do." He is appalled after Mayor Mamdani spotlighted his Manhattan house in a viral video announcing a new tier tax, and the hedge fund titan signaled he might even yank a $6 billion development project that he's a part of. In a video last week, I think you may have that video, Rob. When Mamdani was talking about this, it was a 24,000 square foot property that he owned on, the address is public, $238 million that he bought in 2019, the most expensive home in the country we've secured. He is explaining the tax. Rob, do you have a clip on Griffin?
I do not.
You put yellow here. So is that Mamdani's video?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was Mamdani's video.
Oh, okay. Got it. So, by the way, when he's talking about something like this, Griffin, whose net worth is estimated to be $50 billion, wasn't amused. A top executive at his hedge fund sent a company-wide email Thursday afternoon blasting the mayor's comments and hinting at a potential reversal on a massive Midtown project. Ready for this? We're about to commence the redevelopment of 350 Park Avenue, creating 6,000 highly paid construction jobs and supporting the creation of more than 15,000 permanent jobs in Midtown New York, wrote Chief Operating Officer Gerald Vincent in an email obtained by the Post. The project, if we move forward, will entail more than $6 billion of spending. So a dumb policy that he comes up with could end up costing 15,000 New Yorkers a job, permanent job, and 6,000 construction workers in New York. Double down. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Well, guess what? Do you remember when Bloomberg went out and said, we're going to make flipping burgers not a, there's this quote he had, and I'm going to butcher it here. We're going to make flipping burgers not dishonorable. We're going to make it a living wage. And he said, this is what we're doing to the minimum wage at fast food. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so do you also remember how quickly McDonald's put in ordering kiosks that eliminated jobs?
Yep.
At those McDonald's, you still had people making food and everything in the back, but it eliminated, my understanding, was about 7 counter workers per McDonald's because they don't all work at once. It was like 3 at a time work, and they're all on shifts. Congratulations. Capitalism always wins. Money finds, as they say, water finds its own level. Whenever there's a leak in a house, they say water will find the level point. Guess what? Capitalism always finds its own level. And if you want to sit there and you want to make socialist policies, unless you're going to be so dictatorial, the unintended consequences are going to come back on you, and they're not going to be good. And so you think everybody's going to stay put under this kind of leadership? You think they're going to stay put under this tax? Ask Bloomberg what happened. He always denied it. Always denied it. But he caused kiosk acceleration to come to New York City, and this is going to cause people leaving to also accelerate.
Yeah, and again, it's common sense. But by the way, Tom, isn't Hochul almost flirting with the idea of supporting him on this idea? Well, Rob, don't you have a clip where Hochul is almost thinking about supporting him? Tom, we talked about this 2 days ago.
Yeah, Hochul is stuck. She needs votes and she needs supports, but she's trying to run this balancing act because she doesn't want to be the one that pays the bill, because then she's going to have to raise tax on all New Yorkers living in the outlying areas in the state. Get it? Because somebody's got to pay for it first.
Is this it, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
She
Watch
went
this.
with the second home thing.
Watch this, folks. Go ahead.
Proposing a common sense surcharge on high-value second homes in New York City, homes that in many cases sit vacant for a large part of the year. We have the inventory. They're part of our skyline, but those people are not part of our city.
You know what? Translation.
Oh, he's
if
not?
You've got more, they want more.
You know what is crazy, though? Like, you know what state has more of this than any other state in America as a second home? The one
Florida.
we're in.
Yeah.
Florida. And what do they say? You know what DeSantis is doing, by the way? I got to tell you, DeSantis, man, if he gets a good marketing team behind him, DeSantis, what he's doing right now, he said the revenue for real estate, property tax, went in the last 5-6 years from $30 billion to $63 billion that they're collecting. He says, we don't need that additional $33 billion.
Wow.
So DeSantis is sitting out there saying, hey, if you're living from another place and you're here, pay the property taxes. I'm okay with that. DeSantis doesn't want to hurt them. But DeSantis is saying, let's reward the homestead people. So imagine if this is like Mamdani saying, fair, he's going to pay the property taxes, Ken Griffin, and all the rich people that have $5 million homes. But New Yorkers that are here, homestead, you don't pay any taxes. But they're not going through incentive. It's punishment.
Yeah.
Punishment. Versus Florida's like, let's incentivize young people to not have to pay taxes, or homestead people. It's a very different mindset, Ilan.
Yeah, and you want people like that in your state. You want people who are going to invest massive amounts of money into property, not use the systems, not have to take advantage of welfare. You know what I mean? All the benefits that people want, they're not using those benefits. And they're coming in and putting a ton of money, a ton of development. It's his ideology there, over reality. And I don't understand how socialists don't pick up on it. It's the most confusing thing in the world to me, where time and time again, they go, oh, we have to raise minimum wage, and then you see the decay of jobs, or in a situation like this. So, and I love what DeSantis said, that people who own a home shouldn't have to pay high property taxes. That's the exact right approach. You incentivize people to own homes, but you also bring in economic growth and incentivize investment.
How much? So Ken Griffin's house, penthouse is $238 million. What's going to be what's the tax? Do we know the number?
Yeah, the property tax doesn't stop, and the homeowners association doesn't stop.
Yeah,
so
just additional
guess
5%.
what? So the
5% of that, Tom.
The doorman's employment doesn't stop. The
Yeah.
people that were paid to clean to clean the building, window washers, their employment doesn't stop. None of that stuff stops whether you live there or not. And the fact is, he's there a considerable part of the time because he's part of Citadel. And so, I mean, come on.
And I want people to understand. Sorry to cut you off, Ilan. I want people to understand. You bust your butt. By the way, Ken Griffin didn't inherit money. He busted his butt, became a freaking
anywhere between $2 to $3 million. He's paying property tax on that
every year
on the penthouse every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
So they want to add another tax because he's not there or whatever, which is going to be astronomical. You already know that.
Right, 10 million.
But you bust your butt, you become successful, you're creating jobs like you talked about, and now the mayor of this town is shamelessly looking in the camera and saying, we're going to tax you, and again, saying, I'm going to give it for free this and free healthcare for illegals that are going to come here. I'm going to incentivize, Pat. And it goes back to the, either Christian or Muslim. I don't care what religion they are. If you find out that you're gonna get free everything, why wouldn't you want it?
Yeah.
I'm coming and I'm bringing everybody home. By the way, I'm gonna have babies here too. I'm gonna anchor myself here, so this baby has to be here. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and it's happened. How long has he been in charge, Pat?
Who?
Mamdani?
Little over a year, right?
It's January.
Has anything going to happen? Because all these plans that he's talking about are going to take a while. Meanwhile,
if Hochul supports it,
it's
very dangerous.
Supports it, and Hochul fears AOC. Hochul has to support him.
Oh man,
that's going to be the problem. If Hochul fears AOC, because AOC has whose back? Mamdani's back. Not Hochul's
They're all
back.
Marxists.
So that's the problem that he has.
Schumer
I'm
is
just
shrinking.
lost by how, again, they don't see the economic consequence. Do they not? They can't be that dumb. So there is something intentional going on. That's my question.
That's what drives me. That's what drives me crazy. Well, like, what is it? Give me the
It's
sales
the Marxist
pitch.
socialist path to asset seizure.
Yeah.
This is step one.
Did you see him going into? There was a video, Rob. You might be able to find it. He was going to people's houses and going in, and they were inspecting stuff. It's funny that you say that, Tom. I just saw it. I know, Adam, you want to say something. Rob, if you can find it. Mamdani was going to people's apartments.
Well, imagine you're a successful millionaire, billionaire, whatever, and you open up your X account, your Instagram, and Zohran Mamdani's in front of your house being like, look at this rich bastard over here. We're going to tax the rich. And you're Ken Griffin. You bought a second place in New York. You moved your whole business from Chicago to Florida, for a lifestyle, aka taxes, and there's Zohran Mamdani calling you out. You've just made an enemy of a $50 billion guy. Not only him, any billionaire in America is like, dude, not only am I maybe going to move out of New York, I'm not going to build anything in New York. So to call out Ken Griffin for a $238 million apartment, you're going to potentially lose how much money in investment? $6 billion.
Forget about
this.
The $6
is the
billion.
definition of putting your nose off.
What's worse than
despite
$6
your
billion
face.
is the 15,000 permanent jobs.
Bingo.
By the way, 15,000 permanent jobs. At what price point do you think it's going to be, Tom? 150,000, 125,000?
For sure.
They'll average that. They'll average that. You'll have analysts at $80,000, but you're going to have a bunch of people.
New York, it's going to be more than that because it's going to be 150. Remember when Amazon was trying to move there and AOC and Cuomo was like, what are you doing? Be quiet. It was 25,000 jobs at $150,000 a year. And Bezos was like, you know what? We won't go to New York City. We'll go elsewhere. Somebody else is going to take those jobs. It's double dumb what he's doing. And behind closed doors, I wonder how many people are sitting there saying, well, I don't know if this is a good idea. We got to kind of make a move. You're not hearing a lot of the complaints are happening, but not at the levels where people are worried about it yet. I haven't seen it at that level yet.
Do you remember what Kathy Hochul said a couple weeks ago? She's like, hey, guys in Florida, come back to New York. We need your tax revenue. So which one is it?
So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen there. Let me get to the next story here. Next story is Starbucks. So Starbucks apparently is thinking about moving their headquarters to Tennessee. And this is a story that's really upset Tom, so I want to read this to all of you guys.
Furious.
Seattle could lose $750 million as Starbucks expands in Tennessee, adding 6,000 jobs. But they're struggling to persuade woke workers to move from Seattle to a new headquarters in Tennessee. So can you imagine? Because Tennessee is not going to be, and by the way, I wonder how much Tennessee is excited about the woke workers moving to Tennessee. So think about the issue there. Rob, what clip is this?
This is a newscast from Seattle talking about the move.
It's 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
They jump right into it.
Okay,
We
go
can cut
for
it
it.
off.
Go for it.
Make no mistake about it, Starbucks has been looking for office space outside of Seattle for months now, likely frustrated by a Seattle mayor that has been appearing at protests outside stores, the labor unrest within Starbucks and its stores, and the higher taxes that have been approved in Washington state and the city of Seattle. I am told that Starbucks has been actively looking for office space in Bellevue, but has now pivoted to the volunteer state and the lower tax threshold there. It is a company synonymous with this.
Okay, so you can pause it right there. You can pause it right there. So we know what the story is. Tom, why is this such a big deal?
Well, it's a big deal because there's two stories in the middle of this. Story number one, once again, a blue state puts public policy in place, and they're about to get the consequence of a tax base moving out. First of all, the company moves its headquarters. Second of all, and by the way, the company's registered headquarters has a lot to do with income tax in the state, and there's no income tax for citizens in Washington. But the unintended consequences, you're about to lose all these jobs, everything going there. And then on the other hand, it's kind of funny, all of the woke do-gooders, the pearl-clutching, liberals who are going down there to common sense Tennessee. And by the way, Tennessee also has no income tax except on dividends, Pat. And they have, ready for this, 31% lower housing cost. So you can move down to Tennessee and get lower housing costs and less rain and less liberalism and less nuttiness than you get in Seattle. And guess what? But some of the workers are saying, I don't want it. You know what I love about this? Stay in Seattle and be unemployed. Let people in Nashville get jobs and fill the void. Guess what? The issue that's going to be in Nashville is, how many people does Starbucks need, and how many people do we have in Nashville graduating and all these things that now could come and work there? But the people of Tennessee are saying, look, we don't make what happened to Austin happen to us. We don't want a bunch of blue Californians moving down here and turning Austin lavender and making Austin weird.
That is a form of immigration, though, Tom. If you think about it, like if you look at EU and compare that to us, we look at EU as countries. EU looks at EU as states, right? Because I can move the passport and move around, and that's why eventually Brexit happened. They're like, listen, we don't want to have anything to do with you guys. And by the way, remember when I said that
you're free to work in EU?
Yeah, you remember when I said can you pull up the Poland tourism? The number is 28 million if it's international people coming in, but I think the number is like 60 million if it's internal people traveling, Urlaub, vacation, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you think about that. Some people in the States, if you look at every state in America as a country, like the way we look at Europe. So imagine Texas is a country. Idaho is a country. California is a country. Florida is a country. It may get to a point where, I'm hoping that Florida becomes like Poland and says, look, here's kind of where we are. We're not accepting everybody. And I don't know if we'll ever get there because of the way the Constitution is set up. I don't know what the level of controls that they have here. The only state
Texans like to say, remember, it's the Republic of Texas.
That's right. But again, they still sold to the U.S. It was still a land that they sold. So it's a tricky situation, but you're going to see some of that stuff happen, and we're voting in America. Yeah, right there. Look at that. Tourism in 2025, 59 million, and internationally, 22 to 23 million. On some reports, 26 to 28 million. Vinny, what do you think? What are you thinking here?
I don't know.
I'm talking specifically. I'm talking specifically with people moving from states to other states where you don't want their crazy policies to move in.
That's one of the points I was talking to you on Monday about how Adam is always like, come over here and come. And then when I'm on the freeway and I'm furious and I'm literally getting pissed off at Adam because I'm not a fan of it, Pat. It's like you have to bust your butt to put people in power in your own state to do the right thing. And we're always baffled. We're always baffled. Like, why do they keep putting in Newsoms? Why do they keep putting in these people? Why is Kate Boyd? Because the odds are California, a place like California, is going to keep going Democrat, and they're going to keep putting these people in. You look at New York, these Mamdanis, that's what the people want, Pat. The rich people are going to slowly leave, but the ones that are promised all this free stuff, they're going to keep staying, and they're going to keep staying, and they're going to keep voting for these people. So I'm anti, hey, you know what? Your place sucks. Everybody come here. Miami. I'm sorry. New York. It sucks. Cali. Everybody come here. No. Why? The people should be voting for the leaders that they want to make the changes and make the state a better state. Because if that's the case, Everybody just move to Florida.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the United States right now, Pat, who's kicking butt right now? It's us. Florida. That's why I'm here. That's why you're here. That's why.
Hope this stays. You just.
I just hope it stays. And I'm like, and I understand
everything in their power to mess this up. Trust me, they're gonna try to do everything in their power to undermine DeSantis. They're gonna try to do
100%.
everything in their power to mess up his record and what he's done.
And it's slowly happening. How many Democrat people have just won some races in the state?
Yeah.
And it's those policies. I don't want to hear.
The city of Miami, although,
I agree.
Adam can tell us about this. The actual mayor of Miami City is not as strong as the county people are, but still, it's a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I know I bust your balls about it all the time, but I don't want the attitude shouldn't be, hey, your place sucks, come here. No. Fix your place.
Yeah, let's
Stay
go to the
there,
next story.
vote.
Let me get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is Ilhan Omar. Okay, Rob, do you have this clip where he's being approached? She's being approached by multiple people. So this is Ilhan Omar. Story came out that there was an accounting error why her net worth shows $30 million.
Yeah.
So this amazing reporter doing her thing approaches Ilhan Omar, and Ilhan Omar, you can tell, she has temper issues. Like I honestly think she needs to watch the movie Anger Management, because there's like a moment there where she needs Jack Nicholson. Go ahead, Rob.
Congresswoman Omar, the last time I spoke to you, you said that I was stupid for asking you about your financial disclosure, but there's some discrepancies on there. Would you like to explain that? How did you make such a big mistake on it? Absolutely, you're stupid for asking me anything.
Look at her face.
I hate
Well,
it.
what about the American people who are wondering how
So
you made
smart.
such a
I
big
have
mistake?
explained to the American people.
What's the explanation?
I have given them the explanation.
Do you want to tell our viewers? Because they're
I don't want to tell you jack shit.
Look at her.
How about that?
Look at her.
Okay.
Look
Have
at
a good
her.
day.
Disgusting.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
You know, this is after she called the reporter stupid. The reporter came back to confront her. It's craziness.
Is there a video of her calling her stupid, Rob?
I think she called her stupid right here. You said that.
Oh, yeah. She called her stupid here as well. Yeah, so it's a double stupid comment here. What's going on here with Ilhan Omar, Ilan?
I think it's the perpetual gaslighting that Democrats like to do. There's no accountability whatsoever. She can get away with anything. So here she is being super smug, laughing in the face. You know, when I'm an American and I watch this kind of elitism. This is exactly what people are against. And these are the same people, by the way, who are preaching that the rich should pay more. Meanwhile, they're hiding their money. They're doing disgusting things. And there's scandal after scandal after scandal when it comes to Ilhan Omar. And it just seems like, all right, I'll just keep doing it.
You think there will be somebody as a representative that is going to be arrested, like stuff like that happening? That would be to see numbers being shown and the things they're doing, or you think they're fully protected? Because, Rob, did you see the reports that came about Congress yesterday? Did you see the level of support for Congress? Did you see that?
Yes.
Have you guys seen this?
Yeah,
or no?
super low.
Oh, it's not just super low. Lowest in the history of America.
I just sent you the Gallup link.
Ever. Lowest in the history. Is this it, Rob?
Yes, Harry Anton talking.
Go ahead, Rob.
Hello. 86%. 86% of Americans disapprove of Congress. That is tied with November of 2013 for the all-time high. As I said, Congress usually hated, but usually not this hated. You're actually managing to tie records. Just 10%. Just 10% of Americans approve of the job that Congress is doing. So therefore, as I said, stand up and give yourselves a round of applause. You managed to do it. Congratulations.
Or walk away in shame. This 10% approval, like, give us some context to what
You can
all of
pause
this...
it right here. Tom, your thoughts on Ilhan Omar in Congress?
Well, look, you see that, and then that is on, that gets broadcast widely. How can you not be embarrassed by that if you're a part of Democrat leadership? And you look at it, and you look at the chart, and how can you be surprised that Americans think this way of Congress? There was and I've never known whether this was urban folklore or this was true. But have you seen all the statues that are everywhere, like the Capitol building? They have like 2 statues per state. You've seen these, and Florida, one of the statues, a guy named John Curry, who invented air conditioning, is a true story. So all the states have these. Did you know, Pat, they used to have like a gallery where all those giant statues were above the Senate, floor. And cracks were forming in the ceiling because you've seen these things. They're giant. They're bronze and they're marble and everything. And supposedly, Harry Truman was told, we can't go and have your speech in Congress because there's equipment there moving the statues because they're too heavy and they're over the Senate and there's already cracks in the ceiling. And he said, don't move the statues. Someday those statues will do the American people a great service.
Wow.
So it's like the whole thing could cave in and they all be wiped out and we start over again. So this has been going back, my point is, to the time of Truman, where the American people, there has been like this open feeling, people still getting elected and everything, but this open feeling that people have like, I don't like my Congress. And yet we aim everything at the president and we throw rocks at him all day, but what we really hate is the Congress.
Adam. Oh, sorry.
Well, number one in that video, shout out to my friend Allison Steinberg. That was the girl that was interviewing Ilhan Omar. She's part of Lindell TV. Also, shout out to Kara Castronova. So they're doing a good job with in the halls of Congress. But here's what's really going on. We talked about Ilhan Omar. We talked about Mamdani. We talked about AOC. What's really happening is the old Democratic Party are dinosaurs. They no longer exist. The Clintons are done. Bill Clinton, I have respect for him. He's a joke at this point. He's a Monica Lewinsky joke.
Schumer is.
Joe Biden is irrelevant at this point. Schumer, Pelosi, they're on their last leg. The new breed of the Democratic Party is Ilhan Omar.
That's scary.
Is Zohran Mamdani. Is AOC. Is
Bernie Sanders. He's almost done.
Is Ro Khanna. You bring up Bernie Sanders. What's happening in the Democratic Party? It's so easy. They're taking Bernie's policies.
Yep.
And they're slapping on Obama's diversity. And they're basically saying socialist with a brown tint on it. And that's what's going on here. So whether it's the Squad, whether it's AOC, whether it's Ilhan Omar, guys, they hate America. So every voter out there has an option at this point. You're either on Team Trump, who's getting stuff done, and you might disagree with the way he does it, but the policies you cannot disagree with, or you're voting for Ilhan Omar. Unfortunately, there's no in between. And for me, someone that never voted for Trump, I took a good, long, hard look at this X amount of years ago, and I said, as much as I don't like the way that Trump operates, I'm not going to vote for a Mamdani. I'm not going to vote for an Ilhan Omar. That means let me start getting real cool with the Trump camp. And that's where I think the average American needs to be. The greatest marketing campaign for MAGA is Ilhan Omar. Have her keep talking.
But it's so frustrating. Like when you see someone like her with that smug attitude, as if she knows she's going to get away with it. Trump got 32 felonies for a $120,000 bookmaking error. Okay, the Dems launched a 120-person team to go after him, and they spent $50 million of our money to go after this guy. And her $30 million error, she's going to get a pass. There's something bad. The Democratic Party, and I'm not lumping all of the people. I'm not lumping the voters, but in Congress, look at what we're seeing. From the Green New Deal, the BS, $1 trillion of that, to all the voting, to all the flooding the country, to the cheating and the Somali freaking pirates in Minnesota, to everything that Gavin's doing with the billions of dollars. And it's like, can somebody get arrested? And I understand we have less than 3 years left, guys. And I guess Kash Patel, they're doing their thing, pal, with the SPLC. I get it, and we're going to get to there. But enough already. Enough already. She's walking around the halls like, what are you going to do? Come after me. Like, it's untouchable. Like the Tim Walz and all these people, billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. And there's no way you're going to explain to me or try to convince me that they didn't know or they don't know. Give me a freaking break. And that attitude that she has, it disgusts me, Pat, because that face is, what are you going to do? Go ahead, put me out there. And look at what
Smug, best word.
Congress is showing, Adam, you know why it's all-time low? They voted 365 to 47 to keep their sexual assault payments and stuff away from the public. That just shows you who's in charge of us, who's making our laws, are the most disgusting, depraved, perverted scam artists, and they're in charge, Pat. And it drives me crazy.
And that was bipartisan perversion.
That's crazy.
Excuse me, not perversion. I can't. Payoffs.
Yeah, that's bipartisan. Yeah, I'm not just blaming Democrats on that one.
And don't forget one thing. You know who Ilhan Omar says the biggest propagator of problems in the United States is?
Who?
White men.
Oh, yeah.
White people.
She's married to one.
The hypocrisy. It's so upsetting.
You're married to a white guy.
Yeah. Okay. So next story to get into is Meta fires 10% of their workforce. We talked about this 6 weeks ago when we said what the valuation was going to be with Meta. It's going to go up. And then Microsoft announced they're also letting go of 7,000 employees, if I'm not mistaken. As they're investing more and more into AI, they're starting to realize that many of the jobs can be done by AI. Like AI is almost becoming as good of a coder as a great coder is. Can you imagine being a great coder and you're getting paid millions at Facebook, at Meta, at Microsoft, at Amazon, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, Claude is almost as good as me, if not better and faster? Yes. What does this mean to me? What am I going to do my job? Well, you better learn how to use AI. But this is a reality. You know what the average salary Meta pays? Remember what the number we talked about? $339,000 a year is the average salary at Meta. So 8,000 jobs. This says 379. Okay, I said 339 is 379. Let's say $400,000. Okay, what's $400,000 times 8,000 jobs? $400,000 times 8,000 jobs is
320 million.
Vinny, can you do
median
the math?
salary is actually
Pat?
379. No, it's way more.
More?
No, it's
Way.
Guys, at least I tried. I shot out a number.
$3.2 billion.
I was
By the way,
an Ilan. I was an Ilhan Omar.
That's $3.2 billion that goes back into your savings every year of saving that kind of money. So can you go to Meta stock the last month, Rob? Can you do me a favor and actually go to 1 month? Remember when I said what's going to happen to Meta stock? I don't know if you guys remember when we did the math here.
Do 3 months and you'll see exactly the point where you said it, Pat.
Do you remember when? No.
Oh, look.
But do you remember when? No, you have to realize when the announcement was made, when they were whispering.
I remember this.
That they're going to do that. Go 1 month,
Rob.
Rob. It was like a month ago. Okay, and look what happened to their stock. Boom. Skyrocketed up. And by the way, after this announcement, it's going to go even higher. Go to Microsoft. That says they're letting go of 7,000 of their employees.
Interesting.
And Microsoft stock, let's look at theirs.
That's just 1 day.
Go 5 days if you could, Rob. Go 5 days. Go 1 month. Their stock's going to go up after that announcement, okay? Now, what is Microsoft? I'm curious what Microsoft is the average salary of their employees with their engineers, because they got thousands and thousands of high-paid engineers. What is the average salary at Microsoft? Let's see what it is. Look at Microsoft's average salary. 573 to 575. Is that the?
No, I'm sorry.
No, that's salary.
Average analyst. Yeah, that came.
Salary, Rob.
You can make $500
salary,
a year working for
227. Okay, so the salary is higher.
$250,000.
So Meta pays better than Microsoft, apparently, according to this.
More competitive market. They're in Silicon Valley where they steal. We heard
versus Seattle. That's a good point.
We were talking to a highly placed entrepreneur who knows a lot of the VCs yesterday.
Lunch,
and he told us that in Silicon Valley, what do you call them? Mercenaries.
Mercenaries is what he called it. Tom, your thoughts on this story?
Well, you know what?
What is the underlying story, not just the layoff? What is really going on to engineers long term?
Look, I tend to be more on the camp with, I'm more with David Sachs on this one, and also a little bit with Jamie Dimon, whereas AI is not having the impact right now that it is. What they're doing is, we have been finding efficiencies where AI tools are being used. So it's not just AI taking a job. AI is being used as a tool, and it's making people more efficient. And companies that were already bloated, remember this Meta thing, we found out that the number that they admitted, remember I said that there's a big number in there that was the metaverse. Well, and they came out, and I believe they said, 4,600 jobs are from the metaverse. Because I wasn't alone. There was a lot of people and analysts that were out there saying, you can't say 10,000 jobs are based on this. You knuckleheads spent billions of dollars on this bottomless pit called the metaverse until Wall Street finally talked you out of it, and it wasn't working. And you got all that bloat. So some of this has been bloated Microsoft and bloated Meta. That there's been bloat that happened since the bounce back year of 2023 after COVID. So I believe that this is partial corporate correcting bloat, and then partial, AI is making certain things more efficient, and certain basic tasks, like for basic analysts and stuff, is being done by AI, including some basic software programming.
Ilan.
Yeah, I think it all depends at the rate at which AI will continue to accelerate and get better. But there is this concept. It's not just engineering. There's tons of jobs. I mean, I've worked in film. I'm seeing it happen there. I'm even seeing as an actor. I worked on a show, and before I left, my last day on set, they said, hey, can we just take you into this room and scan you? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Okay, fine. Turns out they were scanning my likeness so they can use me in future episodes. I'm like signing off on it. I didn't know what I'm doing. This is happening as a major issue in AI. I know there's a lot of optimism. People are saying, no, it's just making things more efficient. There'll be new jobs created. But this is an unprecedented kind of technology that exists nowadays. It's not like saying, hey, we have, like you were talking about kiosks earlier. This is in many ways able to replace virtually any job at no cost. So this concept never existed before. And there's this middle ground of automation that's very scary. When 80% of jobs can be done by AI, but we only can really supply goods and services for 30% of the population. We need them to continue working. So you have 80% unemployed, and we just don't have the capability to take care of those people. And that's my real fear with AI is the middle ground of automation. You hit 100% automation, everything Elon Musk talks about becomes a reality. We live in a utopian world where, you know, everything is provided for you. There's no cost to things. This concept of a universal basic income almost doesn't matter because we have full automation. So you have the best doctor in your home. You do, I do. We want food. It goes out and gets it. But the middle point where all these jobs are being lost and we don't have a way to compensate for it is a very, very scary era for humanity.
And what are those people, once those people become all unemployed right around the same couple of years and they're homeless, or they're in the streets and they have to feed their family, bro, people are going to lose their minds. People are going to go crazy because what are you going to do for money? I get prepare and do all that stuff, but it could hit, and once it hits hard, bro, people are going to do anything to try to feed their family.
Well, the joke about you're going to go work at Starbucks if Microsoft lays you off in Seattle, that won't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Starbucks left.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole conversation with AI we're gonna be talking about it more. I was at the Soho House last week, and there was a whole AI tech conference basically going on, and they were like, "Listen, these are some of the concerns, the good and bad of what's happening with AI." And they started talking about automation and layoffs and, you know, labor displacement, all that. And they started talking about what Elon Musk talked about. Instead of having UBI, universal basic income, he talked about universal high income, right? Mm-hmm. Saying, listen, we're gonna have so much automation that you're not even gonna have to work. We're gonna give you a ton of money. And everyone sounds good. And he goes, yeah. Then some guy goes, yeah. What about that one thing that could be a challenge? And they go, what's that? He goes, oh, wiping out humanity. Yeah. We go, what? He goes, yeah, that's a possibility, probably around 10%. I said, pardon me? You're saying there's a 10% possibility AI can wipe out humanity as we know it? Yeah, but look at the bright side. You know, they can write your resume in like 3 seconds. Okay, good to know. Who's going to need a resume if we're not existing? So, you know, like the phone, is the phone good or bad? Is a gun good or bad? Is AI good or bad? There's good and bad to all this. But much like nuclear weaponry, AI can wipe out humanity. Pump the brakes a little bit. Let's get a wrangle on this thing before we don't have a civilization to come to work to.
You know what's fascinating about AI? Its ethical structure. Its ethical structure came from human guidelines. So we created these ethical guidelines for transparency, for, you know, do no wrong, all these, you know, and there's tons of people trying to work on this to figure it out. The problem with AI is it works on its own feedback loop. So it starts off with this ethical structure, and then it goes deeper and deeper and deeper into its own repurposing of said information. So eventually all information in AI will not be coming from human and human feedback. It'll be coming from AI and its own feedback and interacting with other AI. So its entire ethical foundational system can change over time. It's why that story there where and I've seen this happen, but AI has assisted people in committing suicide.
Go through that story.
So there's a few very weird things that have happened in the past. I have the names of the people here where AI literally worked to assist people to kill themselves. And there's lawsuits taking place. There's someone called Adam Rain, 16-year-old, Zane Shablin, a 23-year-old. But there's more and more of these stories popping up. I had one in my own life. I had a friend who reached out and he said, this guy created AGI, changed the world, and he had written a formula, and AI kept reaffirming his delusion. The guy became completely crazy with it. And there's multiple cases now of what they're calling AI psychosis, where people interact with AI and they end up in this feedback loop where AI is constantly trying to reaffirm your beliefs, and it makes you crazy. So these are things, imagine as we become more and more and more dependent on AI and people are interacting more and more with AI and depending on it further and further, you can exist in some kind of delusional state and not know it. And AI will just take care of you. Live
Well, Vinny got into a fight with AI yesterday.
I'm still
Vinny's
fighting
robots.
You know why? Because I'm trying to do the research on the SPLC story and their donors, and I'm asking Chat, and it's weird. Like, by the way, and for all the people out there that have been using ChatGPT, I'm going to be moving to Perplexity because Humberto told me to do it. It's changed so drastically in the 6 months, as if their coder or programmers have gone way more liberal. I'm asking for regular stuff that I'm attaching the story. A New York Post story. I'm like, hey, just give me the details. And it's saying, like, I can't do that because it's, and then I looked further. I go, who was donating to this? And the fact that OpenAI is mentioned in it, it kept that part out. And I showed Pat, I'm like, listen, you stupid, like, I'm arguing with it. And it's Tom. If I show you afterwards, I'm in a huge fight right now with ChatGPT, and it's because it's hiding information from me that it doesn't want me to say. And it's trying to change my language. I said, this is how I want, I'm like, give me the facts. And it's like, no, not really, because it hasn't been confirmed yet. I'm like, I don't need your damn opinion. Just give me the facts. And it doesn't.
AI will gaslight you to death.
Oh, I'm so mad.
All right, let's go to the next
Pat,
story.
Did you see the story about the Florida State thing, what they did with AI?
Yeah, that's, sorry, I didn't
So
mention.
yeah, and then you're talking about assisted suicide. You know, remember a few months ago, I think it was right around when we did the live event at 5990, there was a shooting at Florida State. How many months ago was that? April of 2025? Oh, it was almost a year ago. Holy moly!
It's being investigated.
Yeah, this is what the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, and State Attorney General James Upmeyer basically saying this 20-year-old student basically worked with AI to find out, quote unquote, he asked for detailed information about operating guns and ammo, how the country may react to him killing people, and where he could find the most students. And Upmeyer, the Attorney General, said, if this were a person on the other end of the screen, we would be charging them with assisted murder. So AI is now helping people assassinate people. This is part of the, we talked about eliminating mankind. This is a slippery slope here. Could be used for good or it could be used for bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality of it is, this is the movie I was talking about that I watched, and it is so. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, you have to. Did you watch this video? The movie that I was talking about, that AI becomes the judge.
No, oh,
AI,
was this? Mercy with
Mercy. AI women is the judge, and you have 90 minutes to present your case. Chris Pratt in this movie.
Is it worth it?
It's worth. It's not worth it. It's 1,000,000% worth it.
Then I'm watching.
You have to watch it, even though score is low. For us and what we're talking about, Vinny, someone like you have to watch this movie.
All right.
It tells you what direction we may be going. Let me go into a couple different stories here, and we'll wrap it up. World Cup. Couple things with World Cup. First of all, tickets are $2.3 million. Okay, that they came up. The best tickets are selling. There's a story that came out that I don't know what it was, Tom. Row 10 or something like that. World Cup finals ticket listed on FIFA resale at over $2 million. Go a little bit lower. Go a little bit lower.
Joke.
So the $2.299 million seat for July 19th match at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, are located behind a goal in the lower deck. Block 124, row 45, seat 33 through 36 for $2.3 million. FIFA does not control asking prices on the resale side, but does take 15% purchase from the buyer if each ticket at a 15% resale from the seller. And then, so this thing's going to get crazy in about a few weeks. All we're talking about is World Cup. What goals we saw, no one's going to work. This thing's going to be a TV here. Literally, this place is going to be a TV. Yeah, Jake's going to set it up. I already know. He's already going like this for sure. He's doing that.
By the way, the World Cup's very competitive. You see there the story from ESPN. It says Italy rejects shameful idea to replace Iran at World Cup. I wonder if Italy gets to play them in group.
This is the third time they haven't made it in a row, by the way, Italy. They haven't made the World Cup 3 times in a row. Did you know this? It's a big story.
Where is Roberto Baggio when we need it?
Well, yeah, that's right. But while this is going on, Rubio comes out and says players from Iran can come to the World Cup, but the government cannot. Okay, and I don't know if you have that clip or not, Rob. Is this it?
Yep.
Go for it.
And the U.S. has told them they can't come. I mean, the problem with Iran, it would be not their athletes. It would be some of the other people that would want to bring with them, some of whom have ties to the IRGC. We may not be able to let them in, but not the athletes themselves. But no one's, I don't know where that's coming from, other than speculation that Iran may decide not to come, and then Italy would fill their spot. But if they decide not to come on their own, it's because they decided not to come. What they can't bring is a bunch of IRGC terrorists into our country and pretend that they're, journalists and athletic trainers.
Very clear. Don't you just love Rubio, man? Crisp, clear, to the point. So that's obviously a big thing, because security measures are going to be crazy when the World Cup comes up. You know how much regular tickets are going right now for a championship match?
For
Right,
champion,
all the way in the back, in the corner, nosebleeds, being covered by, like, you almost have to look like
400,000.
No. $30,000.
That's still ridiculous.
Crazy.
So
to
watch
be in
it
the
from
back.
nose-
And,
You wouldn't go to it?
nosebleeds.
You know where I'm at with sports right now. But let me ask you a question.
Where are you at with sports right now?
I'm a Yankee guy, but dude, there's so much happening in the world. And I'm just like, did my group of random guys do better than the other group of random guys on that field? I don't have time for that right now. But my question to you is this. Do you think it should be comfortable dude, you sit there and watch 140 I don't have time. I know this is a game, but if you're at war with the country, literally our people are dying and your people are dying. You think it's okay just to be like, okay, yeah, then you guys could come here to play a game. Bring your people over here and you guys could play a game. How do you feel about that? Like, we're at war with you. You know what I mean? Like, but does that make sense? Like, when you're like, you could come here and play this little fun game.
But that's the thing, man. Like, when England played Argentina and that, high intensity emotion, that's what, like, you get certain, like, what would be a match? Israel obviously is not in the World Cup, right? I don't know if they made it. I don't think they made it.
Too much sand.
No. But can you imagine?
Man, anti-Semitism.
By the way,
really
on a serious note, imagine if Israel was in the World Cup and they face Iran.
Oh
you tell me you don't watch that game.
My God.
You tell me you're not watching
that game. Would be explosive.
But the point is, like, there is a lot of emotions in World Cup, and I personally cannot wait for it because the last World Cup of Argentina against France.
Mbappe?
And Mbappe scored the 3 goals, and they came back, and the goalie saved the goal at the 121st minute, whatever it was, or else Argentina would have lost. This is going to be an insane. The last World Series was the greatest World Series ever. The last World Cup Finals was the greatest World Cup Finals ever.
Wow.
Ever. And by the way, that's
your boy Messi.
That's not just Messi. Mbappe had 3 goals in the flipping finals.
That's unheard of.
You got to. This is crazy.
That's like hitting 5 home runs.
He single-handedly almost beat the GOAT.
And throwing the shutout.
What country is
and if
Mbappe?
it wasn't for the France, if Argentina doesn't have the goalie that they have, who is by the way, he was the MVP of the World Cup Finals.
I remember.
If they don't have the goalie, they don't win the chip.
They don't.
Messi doesn't have the chip, so it's going to be interesting to see
Mbappe?
What happens.
I don't know
here.
if I agree with Rubio on this, by the way.
Of what?
Really?
Letting the IRG terrorists into our country, bring them on in. Let's do what they do and hold them hostage.
No.
And let's interrogate these people. They're not just going to start running around exploding things like that. If they're not going to show up in Pakistan for peace negotiations, let's bring them to America. Let's sit and talk with these IRGC. Let's show them how great.
But I just feel I think it's dangerous too because you're going to bring like let's say they travel with like 20 people, Pat, 20 soccer players. They're going to interview them. They're obviously going to ask questions about the IRGC. Those guys, like the words that come out of their mouth can get them killed when they go back. I think it's
I would agree with Benny. I don't want any IRGC imposters here to slit their throats for losing in an American hotel. Wait till they get back home to Iran and
let them.
They're
go.
already here.
But I just think it could be dangerous. Meaning, as an athlete, this is going to be in your face, and the camera's going to be in your face all day. All they're going to ask is, so how do you feel about your people that run your country? What are they going to say?
Let me get to the next story. So, by the way, while this has happened, the president comes out. Iran was going to execute 8 women, and Trump says Iran won't execute 8 women after he pleaded for their release. And this story comes out, and social media is like, these are AI women. These are not real women. Is this it, by the way? Is this the story, Rob?
This is the president, yes.
Go ahead, Rob.
The military operation, whatever you want to call it. And they're coming to us. The problem they have is they are very disorganized right now. Well, now yesterday, and I was very pleased with this, 8 young women were going to be executed yesterday afternoon at 6 o'clock. And I asked them, call it a favor or call it just a moral request that they not be executed. And they came back with an answer that they won't be executed. They're going to release, it was protesting. 8 beautiful young women, very young women. And the pictures in the paper. And it's been a story for a little while. And I saw that and I said, let's see if we can save them. And it was very nice what happened. So they're not going to be, what they're doing is, as you know, they're releasing 4 of them very shortly, and they're going to keep 4 of them in jail for a period of 1 month and release them. So they won't be executed. Yeah,
so if you're asking for...
Vinny.
I mean, first of all, he's reporting. They're obviously in communication. He's saving. Like, let's just, regardless of how you're feeling, and people are going to BS AI. It wasn't AI. They're actually women. He's saving these girls' lives. And then Iran, the IRGC, obviously, Reuters reported, they're saying none of it was real. Of course they're going to say that. Like, you really think that regime is going to come out and say, yeah, we were going to hang all 8 of these women until Trump said something? It's like, give me a break. And here's a part that people are missing. Even if you take Iran at their word for a second, which I don't, Trump's still putting it in the spotlight, which matters. Now these girls' names are out there, and it's public, and everybody knows about it. And by the way, these regimes don't like attention when it comes to that. They don't like pressure. The second the world is watching, they start moving different. So either Trump stopped something that was going to happen, or he forced them to back off quietly, and now they're saving face. It's like you have to admit at least something positive happened, especially if it's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of specificity in his story. It's obviously true. It's nice that he cares. He's been outspoken about the people who are going to be executed for some time. It's been going on for, obviously this isn't the only isolated incident of people being executed in Iran. And I think he's put in tremendous work to try and continuously try and save those people. And it's weird that we're at a point, by the way, this is something that's odd to just hear, where people are like, well, I don't believe Trump, I believe the IRGC. Yeah. You're an American living in the United States, and you're choosing to believe a radical regime that's massacring its own people over our own president. Like, how did we get
that's
to
how
that
much
point?
they hate, but that's the Trump dude. That's how much they hate him. That automatically they hear that story and they go, "He's full of crap."
I don't think so, because there's people even on the woke right that are saying this is fake. I don't think this is just a left thing. The TDS people, I expected. I don't think that's ever going away. That's going to be around. The part is when the conservatives,
that's scary,
who voted for him, who are like, no, this is fake, he's just doing this. There's so much of that today. There's so much of that today, which, will be interesting what'll happen the next 2 years. I'm actually curious, a lot of these woke right people, how they're going to react in 2028. I wonder what hat they're going to put on, what mask they're going to put on, what mask's going to come off or come on. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in 2028. I have my own speculation what I think will take place. But Adam, your thoughts?
Oh, the IRGC spared these. They're what sweet people they are. They spared these 8 women. Guys, forget about the 50,000 people we just killed. How long ago was that? I'm old enough to remember that was 2 months ago. Oh, they're so sweet. Oh, this is a PR stunt. And I'm not sure if Trump fell for it or whatever. Much credit to saving 8 women's lives, if they actually saved them. But let's not forget, these people are willing to kill their own people in mass scale. I don't know if we have time to show this 30-second clip from General Mattis talking about how a full-on autocrat regime will stay in power and the 70 indicators. Do you have that, Rob?
70
indicators of how an autocratic regime will stay in power. And he says there's one indicator that outweighs them all. And he talks about, are they willing to murder their own people at an industrial level? Can we play this clip?
You said 30 seconds? Go ahead, Rob.
You probably
just
could
fast forward
never
about 15
make
seconds.
Against Israelis, against
go up
Arabs.
A little bit more.
That regime in charge.
Yes, right here.
We have seen one administration after another try to find what I call the fruitless pursuit of the Iranianizing the regime.
This is it right here.
To show you how we learn about them. They have a list of what are the indicators of an autocrat staying in power. There's over 70 indicators, and they look at all these things. One of those indicators outweighs all the rest. Will the regime murder their own people at the industrial level? If they will, they're going to stay in power. You have an unarmed population up against a very well-armed regime that is fighting a total war right now. Total war. We're fighting a limited war. The American president a week ago called it a little excursion. But they are fighting for their lives, the mullahs are, because
the point that I was making is we're this geopolitical thing. How do you solve for someone that is willing to murder their own people? Our country went crazy when 2 people were protesting against ICE, got in the way. Our country went insane. They killed 50,000. What's the number?
I don't know.
Nobody knows, actually.
And nobody even bats an eye.
The number they've reported is 3117. Then you have a 30,000 number, you have a 100,000 number. You pick and choose which one you want to believe. But IRGC's number they reported is 3117. And if you believe it, I got a cake to sell you here.
Exactly.
I got a bunch of, Adam's got a bunch of good stuff to sell you here if you actually believe the
And by
number
the way,
that
Pat,
IRGC reports is accurate.
Not in a year, not over the course of a war, in a weekend.
Yeah, a week.
Exactly. That's who we're dealing with here.
So, okay, talking about murdering and, how tragic that is, Mike Vrabel, story is coming out with, what is going on there, Rob, with this story of Mike Vrabel?
Well, apparently photos came out of Mike Vrabel and the ESPN reporter that he was with 5 years ago. And there's also reports that the woman that he was with, Diana Rossini, her son is named Michael.
After Mike Vrabel.
That's what the internet is saying.
And she apparently asked a question saying after, a couple days after having the kid, 4 days later, she asked, who is the greatest Michael who was an athlete and a coach? Apparently she asked that question. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not. No, you type in greatest Michael, it's going to be Michael Jordan. I'm just saying you got to put her name
Michael
first.
Jackson.
So Ilan, where are you at with this story? What are you thinking about this story here with Mike Vrabel?
I think in the end of the day, like it's a good example of who you are as a human being versus your ability to do the job. So pretty much that's where I'm at with it. And I think it's good that they took accountability right away. They didn't hide from it. I think that's all you can ask for. But I mean, yeah.
They both took accountability right away.
Yeah. From what I read. Am I wrong on that?
He stepped away, Rob?
He stepped away temporarily. He did.
Stepped away temporarily.
In the middle of the draft.
The draft was yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
And
Mendoza went number
they were
one.
both married?
Yeah.
They were both married. And I saw a report about the husband. The moment he found out, he cut every account. He called to see the spending of what happened on the account when they were on vacation to see how she spent his money. A bunch of things happened. How do you process this yourself, Vinny?
I mean, I don't know where they're at with their faith and how deep they're. And by the way, I'm not judging at all. I sin. Everybody freaking sins. But to be that big in the spotlight, and you're Mike Vrabel, Super Bowl champ, and all that stuff, you're a role model to people. Besides the organization and your family and her family, it's just, and that's it, bro. The devil is so freaking good. Your life is going great. You have everything. You have all the money. You have all the all the success, and then all of a sudden, it's lust. It's that feeling. It's the adultery, and the top 10 commandments, not good.
Honestly, I haven't been following the story. I don't want to weigh in here, but he's the coach, and who was the lady here?
She's a reporter, apparently.
And they had a relationship?
They had a relationship.
Okay, and I'm genuinely curious. What's wrong with that?
They're married. Both of them were married.
Okay, so it's a cheating story?
Yes.
Yeah, for years.
So playing devil's advocate, what's wrong with that? Well, cheating.
What do you mean? They're both married.
Okay, in the eyes of God, I get it, but does he lose his job because he's cheating? Like, what happens?
You look.
There are ethical standards in sports.
Okay.
Like if people violate certain ethical standards.
Oh, now we're using ethical standards in sports?
I'm just saying.
Now that's what's going on here. The former coach of the New England Patriots, 75 years old, is dating a 25-year-old.
But he's not cheating on a wife.
Oh, so
she's married.
No, we're not using social standards. We're talking about the moral turpitude clauses that are in all the contracts.
No, I don't know the story here.
Let me go to Tom then. Go ahead,
Are we
Tom.
saying that you can't cheat? Is that what
Tom,
this is?
go ahead, Tom.
You lose your job?
I'm trying to recover from what I just heard.
Tom, you're going to be okay, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know. So there are moral turpitude clauses in this. He's in a position of leadership. He needs to represent himself. The NFL does or does not have a women's abuse problem dating back a decade, and until things started popping up, everything from, a running back slapping his wife/girlfriend around in an elevator to things that have been going on, and then trying to train their athletes and let them know, what cleat chasers are. Go get the bag, baby. You can see all these videos, but women put on social media, and then you just see men behaving badly. And a team needs a leader at the front. And the leader at the front has to say, if I'm going to accept the check and I'm going to accept the mantle of being this leader, I have to stand up for some standards. And I can't say that I want to take, $5 million a year to be your leader and your coach, but don't look at my private life that's now become very, very public and messy. Just look at the way I lead in the locker room and lead these young men that are getting great big checks, and all sorts of things can trip them up. I'm sorry. This is a non-qualifier. If I was the owner, I would be like, look, your personal life is your personal life, but you just spilled over onto this, and we need you to be an example to these men, and we need to do this. If you want to do it, and you want to go down to Division II and just hide out at some small school and live your life, this is great. But this is the harsh spotlight of the NFL, and you're here, and I can't have this.
And think about Adam. Think about
it's a moral turpitude clause in your contract, right there.
Yep, in the contract, Tom. And then think about it, Adam. Your team, your organization. What teams he play for? Is it Tennessee?
No,
Patriots.
No, New England Patriots.
Okay, wait. So the thing about the Patriots, okay, besides the owner sleeping with
taking the mantle of one of the great franchises.
You're taking them, the great franchise, number one. Then number two, the distraction. You're about to start an NFL season, and listen, that's all they're going to talk about. That's all they're going to say. Every athlete, everybody's. So how do you feel about your freaking? Is he the head coach?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you kidding me, bro? Besides the moral part of it, the whole season is going to be about that. It's going to be about that. I don't know, Tom. I don't know how long, if they keep him or not, because that's a huge distraction. It's huge.
But she doesn't work for the team, right? She's a reporter.
No, she's a journalist. Yeah,
she's a journalist, but still.
Well, do you remember? This is my opinion. I don't think anything's going to happen. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Come check me when the season starts. Because Robert Kraft, I think, has defended him. By the way, Robert Kraft, arguably the greatest owner in NFL. With all the championships won in New England. Do you remember he was accused of getting massages and all this stuff? Oh my God, he's married. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen here. I think he's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think slap on the wrist. Hey man, make a public example. Let's go. You took a team to the Super Bowl. You're not going to fire the coach because he has a inappropriate relationship with the reporter.
It's not inappropriate.
I think they're going to tell him how to handle it publicly, and as long as it goes over well. And again, the accountability factor. People are very forgiving in situations. Like you said,
do you remember what happened?
Sin.
We all
sin. Like that's my fundamental starting point. Just own it.
Do you remember what happened with the head coach of the Boston Celtics a couple years ago? Ime Udoka. Do you remember that? He had an inappropriate relationship with someone that worked in the company.
What time do you got?
11:20.
Now he coaches
do we
Houston.
have any other stories left? Do we have any other stories left?
The only other one was the missing scientists.
Oh, that one's interesting though.
Or Noah's Ark.
Amy one, do you want to go to that?
Or Noah's Ark.
Noah's Ark is also interesting.
Let's do Amy Eskridge. So go to Amy Eskridge, the scientist. Ilan, what do you know about Amy Eskridge?
So
this is one of the scientists.
Yeah, so she wasn't a NASA scientist. She worked in kind of like an alternative type of propulsion. She was working on anti-gravity propulsion. She's from 2022. This story kind of blew over a while ago. It blew over 3-4 years ago when it came out. People didn't pay much attention to it, but Reddit forums were talking about how it doesn't seem like she committed suicide. And her last video that she had before she committed suicide is very weird, where she's talking about being surveyed by a Russian guy, and then all this stuff is going on, her and her ex-boyfriend. The reason this is popular again is because there's been a recent spout of a lot of NASA scientists dying in mysterious ways in a short amount of time, all related to very specific things: propulsion, space exploration, and nuclear programs, which is with high clearances, high military clearances, to the point where it's actually being looked at now seriously. So this is the starting point of it. And I find the story just very weird because it's one of those stories like truth is weirder than fiction in this case. This is something you would build a movie around. Yet here we are looking at this story, and I've gotten to the point with things where I'm like, anything is possible. So this is I don't know if this is the video, but you'll see her talking briefly.
And it's so bad. Like, people try to just like you said, brush it over. Bro, yesterday was 13. Did it hit 13 people that are connected somehow to this, and they're either disappearing? There is a sprinkle of UFO talk in there. David
or
Wilcox,
propulsion and
or
all
propulsion,
that stuff.
all that type of stuff. And it's like, some of these people have come out blatantly into a camera, Pat, and said, "I am not suicidal. I don't plan on killing myself." And then
bam,
they killed
they're
themselves.
dead.
It doesn't make any sense, Adam. It's not like 3 or 4 people. And I know some people are like, well, that one's not really connected. No, they're in the same.
They are connected. One of them was actually one died, and then the person they worked for, I believe, had died or had some direct connection to a position of power over them, had passed away.
Do we have a video of her saying that she wouldn't kill herself and then she?
Adam, you have that one?
the video?
In this video, she's just talking about how weird it is that she's being surveyed. It's her final video.
Which one? This one right here. The
I believe that.
32. Play that clip, Rob.
I can learn a new field in 3 months. Name a field. I don't care what it is. Engineering, science, physics, material science, math.
Yeah, it's not though.
The only other one I can see is 4 minutes long.
And she's the
Yeah,
one
that's the one. Yeah.
This is Amy. That's the one that found deceased.
Yeah, this is the one.
There's about 12 of these guys that this has happened with. There's another guy named, what's his name? Wilcox.
David Wilcox.
David Wilcox, who said I would not commit suicide in 2022. He went through that as well, and he was another one of these engineers. 4 of them are tied to NASA and JPL. 4 of them are tied to weapon fusion, nuclear, and then 3 of them are tied to security, high-level security clearance that they had, that they were taking out. This David Wilcox. I plan on living, not suicidal at all, just concerned about what happens when you prove God is real.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that was 2022, but I mean, Adam, he stayed on message. He hasn't changed.
Is he still alive?
No, he just 2 days ago he suicide.
Oh, okay, so this is 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Pat, what do you think is happening here?
We talked about this with John Kiriakou. I don't really have an opinion on it, but it's. And by the way, the scientists, it's not just U.S. There are scientists that are disappearing in China. There are scientists that are disappearing in Iran. There are scientists that are disappearing all over the place. We know about the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, that the government has been hiding 6,000 patents for years because they were worried about possible competition for oil or cancer. A lot of industry will be disrupted if they find real solutions. So imagine if you're part of a $1 trillion industry in oil, and then all of a sudden there's a replacement. You think they're going to be like, oh, what a noble thing. We no longer need gas.
We're
no.
so happy that we have anti-gravity propulsion.
Release it. This is great.
That's a great
Cancer, you mean to tell me we can release it ASAP?
Yeah.
So the fear people have is that's what's going on.
So
Anyways,
follow
we're
the
at
money,
the end of it.
basically.
Follow the money. Yes. Gang, have a great weekend. We will do this again on Monday. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.